The topic is Brenay. I'm waiting to get some more ladies in the live to discuss Brenay. Yep. I know Coach T wanted to talk about this. So waiting for her to come in. She said around 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time was when she was available. So hopefully she'll be in here now. I had talked to Coach T on the back end. So hopefully I get her in here and then we guys can have a discussion about that. Yep. So, Hey, lady. Hey, Miss Coach T. Thank you so much, Whitney. Hey, how you doing, sis?
Hey Trig, happy Saturday. How you enjoying your first Saturday of November?
Yep.
Hold on, let me share out the live.
Okay. Yeah, I was looking at some pictures of her. Like I said earlier, what she wore to court, I just feel like, I don't know. I just feel like it was just out of order. I feel like, especially knowing that so many people dislike you, so they're already going to pick apart the things that you're doing. I don't know. Y'all already said, like, I don't know. I struggle how real to be for in staying in the realm of political correctness. For fear that people will be like, "Oh, why are you saying that?"
No, go ahead and say it. Ain't nobody in here yet.
Shoot, I already said I said in the live earlier. I said that she's built very uncomfortably. Like she just looks uncomfortable. She's built very uncomfortably, and she doesn't the way she dresses just accentuates that for real. And I don't know. I just feel like if I knew I was about to be on trial for like taking someone's husband, you know, so the smoke that comes
You were
along.
trying to look. You were trying to look less like a floozy.
Yes, yes. And I feel like that's the vibe that she give. Like I don't know if everybody remembers Two Can Play That Game with Vivica Fox. But when Vivica Fox was describing Gabrielle Union in that role, she was like, she's a lay on her back, do whatever it takes to get your man. Like that's what she gives to me. Like she like that. She'll just do whatever to get somebody else's man. And that's trifling. And I understand a human being can't be taken. They come of their own volition. But I still really feel like, yeah, she just like a person that will always be up in somebody else's man face, hoping that, you know what I'm saying, that he'll give her a lick of attention. And women like that are really trifling. Ugh. I just, because I'm sitting here thinking, like, I remember when I was dating my husband, we went to this, like, sports bar, and it was like we went to the sports bar to see this fight that I wanted to see. Um, and so it was this black woman that was in front of our table. And so soon she saw us sitting there, just like we weren't married or nothing at this point. We was just dating. Soon she saw him, she started like, dancing and winding her hips and like twerking and all of this stuff. And I was just looking at her like, okay, like you
Okay.
do what you want. Cause if you feel like you can turn his head, then you by all means,
His
you
head
can
needs to be
have
turned.
you know, and I will never forget, like, we were sitting at the table and he saw her doing all this stuff and he had picked up my hand and he had kissed it. Soon as that lady saw this man kiss my hand, it's like her spirit was enraged. And she just started doing the most. The most. She went so far as to come to where we were because I was sitting, in a chair, and she started acting like she was trying to get a drink because we was closer to the bar, and she started like twerking like almost against me. And that's when it was like, what is your, are you okay? Like, it was like, are you all right? Because now you making it like, now I might have to go ahead and put my hands on you. And it's not because of him. It's because now you're doing too much and now it's encroaching upon me. It was a big thing. But yeah, like, I don't know why women do things like that. I think it's so
They still
distasteful.
they still act like that.
You said what, Coachy?
They still be doing that. I don't be dating, so like I don't be out on a date with men. But if I'm out somewhere and there's men in the vicinity and they're attracted to me, other women will start doing the most. They will just start doing too much. It'll just be like, girl, I'm just here enjoying my little drink and enjoying the vibes, and you're doing way too much. It's really sad to see.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, it's really gross. Like, but anyway, let's talk about Brenay. So, what do you think is going to be the outcome of this case? What do you think?
No, it's really hard to say because you never know with court. Like court is such a funny thing. Funny thing about me actually is I actually wanted to be a lawyer, but then in high school I did mock trial and I was like, wow, court is really boring. No, thank you. But my grandma used to watch court TV. I feel like I'm my grandma used to watch court TV all the time. I remember what was the popular trials? Scott Peterson trial
Yeah.
and what was the other one? You remember that crazy looking white man who girlfriend or somebody he pushed down the stairs or something he was on trial for? He was like a producer. What's his name?
Yes, yes,
Harold?
I
How
do. I
you
know
remember
what
that
you.
one?
I don't
Yeah.
know
So
the
I
name, but I know
remember,
exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, the like those type like I remember those was like real popular. I would come home from school and my grandma would be watching a court TV child. But yeah, court is funny because it's hard to tell. Like we civilians think that they have that the plaintiff has met the burden of proof for the suit, but the jury may not think so, or they may not have met the legal definition. And that's how this system is funny with their words and their little dalliances and games that they like to play. Is that even though we can obviously see that what she did was treacherous by law, there may be a different definition. So I just never like to say one way or another, but if I was on the jury and I heard the evidence that they're reporting that was shown, I would definitely be like, "Oh yeah, guilty." No, like that's a no-brainer. Like, yeah, she's guilty. But as far as the financial restitution, I don't know if she will be awarded that or be able to collect that. It's just like Tasha K with Cardi B, she was ordered to pay some type of money, and Cardi B is trying to collect it. So, it's one thing to be awarded something in court, and then it's a completely different thing to like be able to actually collect what the court says that um you're being awarded. But I think if I was on a jury, absolutely guilty. But I can't with jurors, like you just can't tell. You just never know with people. What you think?
I feel like maybe I feel like she's gonna get found guilty. I just feel like her representing herself and making everything a mockery and all of that. I feel like I think she may get it, but I don't know if the girl will. If Akira, I think it is, will get any money. I hope so. But even if she doesn't get any money, they said that if she gets proved of like cyber stalking or something like that, they may stop her from being able to be online for a few years. So Akira could still get revenge because that's how she make her money, right? Being online. So maybe that way. But I don't know.
Yeah, the cyber stalking case is a completely different case. The fact that she represented herself is crazy to me. But the main piece of this whole case that was always confusing to me is like, how is all of this happen and there are children around? Like the whole thing was just like mind-boggling to me because there's, Akira and Kim, Lord, Akira and Tim. who are a married couple and they have two children. Then there's Brenay and her ex-husband, Devin. I'm calling the man Devin, who were married, but they didn't have any children. And it's like, how is all of this happening between like adults and where are the kids? Hold on one second, Trick. Somebody knocking on my door.
Sorry, Coach C. Just 1 second, sis. I'm doing something here at the house real quick. My children are bothering me. Just 1 second, okay? I'll be right back. If you could hold it down for me, I will be right back. Or are she still there? You still there, Coach C? Oh no. Oh no. You there? Or can you guys hear me? Oh no, I don't know what's going on. I don't. You guys can y'all hear me? Or is it me? Is the volume down?
Got caught up doing stuff. Yeah, my door.
Okay, okay. All right, I'll be right back, you guys.
Oh shoot. Can you not hear me?
I can hear you now. Okay. Oh, she said someone's knocking on the door. Okay. Okay, you guys. All right, tell Coach T when she comes back. I'll be right back too, you guys.
Okay. I'm back, y'all. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all put one in the chat if y'all can hear me? Yeah, I was having me and Trig both adults, so we have to handle adult business. But I was having an issue with my shower. I had to call the service people to do something for me. So they was just knocking. All right, thanks y'all. All right, let's keep tapping the screen. How many likes we got? We're not even at 1K likes yet. Come on, y'all. Let's keep tapping the screen on this light Saturday afternoon. We're gonna doing something kind of light, kind of heavy, because what's underneath this is very, very demonstrative in what's going on. But we just having this topic so we can sip a little bit of tea. But still, always on triggered panels when us Black women get to talking, all kind of stuff come up and we start having conversations about stuff we didn't think was related, but it's really related. So yeah, keep tapping, keep tapping, keep tapping, keep sharing. All right, so y'all let me know if I start breaking up or something, and then I could switch my Wi-Fi. But it looked good for now. But so like I was saying before, I had to go enter my door. I was always confused about how all of this mess is going on and his kids in the midst of all of this. Like that part is still perplexing to me because this is a whole married couple, a married family, like a married family. And then you have this woman like Brenay who comes in and now she's staying with y'all, sleeping on your couch in your like living room, your family room. Like, I don't know. That part of it is just so predatory and abusive for her to come into that home, and there are children in that home, and to be doing all of what her and Tim were doing, and there are young kids there, and exposing them to that. There was even testimony. Devin, um Brenay's ex-husband, testified to the fact that he knew that they were being intimate with one another, because they had been intimate with one another in their home, in their marital home, him and Brenay's. And he was hearing it. And he said on one occasion, he heard them being intimate and the children were there for some reason. And they called the little boy to come and bring them some wet wipes after they was done handling their business. Like, that is so predatory and disgusting and abusive. Like, just why are you involving the kids in that? Yes, Kelly, I knew she was weird. Like, it was weird stuff going on when she kept being adamant about posting the children online after Akira asked her to stop, and showing up to the children's events. It's like, girl, are you well? Like, I think after Akira had gotten the restraining order against Brenay, that she showed up to one of the kids' graduations, or like it was some, I feel like it was a graduation. Yeah, it was a graduation, because Akira said she missed her son walking the stage. And I'm like, why would you show up to the kids' events? Like, you're after all of that. It's just too nasty, and it's too gross, and it's too disgusting. And it's too, for me, adults are adults, and adults make adult decisions, but every adult in this situation put those children in harm's way, mentally, emotionally, and physically, by just allowing all of this stuff to keep going on. Like, just keeping up the mess. All of them keeping up mess. Like, if y'all as adults want to be um dipping and digging and doing whatever y'all is doing, that's one thing. But to me, the fact that there are two children in the middle of this, and a third, possibly a third child, Akira um testified in court that she had a miscarriage at some point. I think that was the end of 2023. I think she said it was, that she had a miscarriage. And it's just the amount of just the amount of emotional immaturity, and just being so developmentally stunted, the lack of good decision making, is just wow. I'm just like, wow. Running it down from the top to the bottom, from Brenay, Akira, Tim, and Devin, to the mamas, to the sister being involved, to everybody. It's just like, what is going on? Like, how is this happening? It was making my head hurt. And the sister too. The sister, come to find out, Tim was sleeping with Brenay's twin sister too. Like, it's just, I'm just having a hard time wrapping my mind around what was going on. And that's how I know it's a mess. That's when you know it's a mess, when it's just not making sense. When you trying to make it make sense, and you trying to follow a logical path and draw a conclusion to the case, and see, like, well, wait a minute, why is that happening? When you trying to make sense of stuff, and the stuff is not making sense, that's how you know it's a mess. And that's how you know that it's something demonic, because it's chaotic and it's confusion. That's exactly how you know. So the story is, Kelly, it will never make sense. This is an open panel, y'all. So if y'all want to come up, y'all can come up. But make sure y'all keep tapping the screen, keep liking the live. We at 2K likes. Our host will be back with us very shortly. Trigger, you on pause. You on teacup. Just so you know. But so this is the story, basically. So the story starts out that once upon a time. And this is how you know it's bullshit. Cause, like, I have to start it like a fairy tale. Once upon a time, Brenay and Tim dated in high school, like freshmen in high school, 14, 15 year olds. They dated, and it was this great love affair, the great loves of each other's lives. And, it just, they had to separate. According to Tim's testimony in court, he didn't want to talk about why or what happened. But word in the TikTok streets is that Brenay got knocked up and had to um eject the fetus. And so, they separated. We move forward in the timeline. At some point, Tim and Akira meet. I'm still not quite sure on what their love story is, quote unquote, because according to Tim, he was never in love. And I really didn't know. Nobody who reported from court really spoke about how they met and the story of how they met, how they got together. I know part of the mother's testimony was that Pim came to her and asked to marry Akira, and she didn't want to give her blessing because she felt like they were too young. But he told her, like, this is my best friend, and if I have to struggle, I want to struggle together. As a mother, absolutely not. I'm not. I'm not allowing you to take my daughter to struggle with you. Go to hell. But apparently, at some point, I don't know how they met or what, but they got married. Tim is telling his wife Akira that he's gonna hook up his cousin Devin. They're cousins. They real life cousins. He's gonna hook his cousin Devin up with Brenay because he needs to get one off. And Tim is trying to hook his mans up. It ain't no fun if the homies can't have none. So he's trying to hook his mans up with Brenay so he can get a quick one off. And come to find out, which I had suspected, is that Brenay was Devin's first girlfriend. I'm not sure if first intimate encounter with a woman, but definitely like first girlfriend, like relationship, we go together type of thing. So Tim tried to hook him up. It's like, when you take your man to the club with the ballerinas and he fall in love with one of the ballerinas. It was kind of like one of those things, like just really gullible. Just a really gullible type of situation where uh he ended up falling in love with Brenay. And Tim said and told this to Akira, and she testified to the fact that Tim had told her that Brenay was nasty. She was a 304, her and her sister, and that she was easy to get. And so he wanted to give his cousin a shot at getting something easy. Kelly, not too much. I'm not gonna say too much on Devin, but yeah. Um, so they get together and they're married. At some point, they become like you know a family, like kind of like a family unit where it's like Brenay and Devin and it's Tim and Akira and they're doing the couples things. And oh, we're both married, like let's go out together, let's cook meals and stuff together, like let's hang out, that type of vibe. And Brenay was really helping Akira with the children because Tim decided, or Tim plotted and schemed and told Akira that he wanted to go and try to do the football thing. So he goes off to college, and he's staying um in housing closer to the school so he can do college and play football and all of that stuff. So Akira is left to have to do the family thing by herself. And I believe that's when Brenay comes in and is like, really helping her, being more hands-on, helping her with the kids and stuff like that. So that's the friend piece, right? Is her trying to step in, and she's got content of her calling the kids her god kids and all kind of stuff. Like I said, the kids being involved is weird because if I was Akira, I wouldn't even trust nobody who looked like Brenay around my kids. And that's all tea and all shade. All tea and all shade. You look like that, you can't be around my kids. Well, no. It's something about it's something about her. Like beyond just how Trigger says she's built uncomfortable. Beyond just that, when I first got on TikTok, they pushed Brenay into my feed because I'm black, she's black. She was doing beauty content. I was on TikTok looking at makeup and clothes and stuff like that. So that's the kind of content that she was making. And so they pushed her on my feet. The very first video I ever saw her, I said, "Oh no, no." Her energy, the look like the look in her face, like her voice, the way she talked, it was just off. It was just completely off. And so to me, for her to be able to get that close to Akira and her children is just weird. Like something is off where somebody with that kind of spirit, mm-mm. Like Brenay, just her spirit is just all wrong. Even when she smiling and, oh guys, I'm doing this, and I was just like, oh, this bitch is deranged. The very first video I ever saw her, I said, oh, she's not, she's yeah, mm-mm. Definitely Skinwalker vibes, like very much. Like she just zip off her skin every day, and it's like an alien or something. I don't know what it is about her, but she's off putting. So Kira and Brenay developed this friendship. Brenay's helping her with her children. They're becoming like a blended family couple. It's a lot of gaps and holes in the story. So, like I said, if y'all are listening to me related information and it's not making sense, that's because the story does not make sense. That's why I'm telling y'all. Like, listening to people tell the story and I'm trying to piece together the story and like fill in the gaps. And it's just so many gaps and so many holes. And it's so much stuff that don't make sense. That's how you know it's a mess. Because it's like, okay, well then what happened when this happened? Okay, well then what happened when this happened? And then so the people who are reporting back from court, they aren't necessarily laying it out that in that timeline sequential order where I can get a better understanding of like, okay, on this day he went off to college, then on this day he came back, then they were hanging out together from this date to this date. It's almost like the court case starts at the point where Brenay comes into their home, which was like 2023. Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate you because I'm retelling the story and I'm like, damn, that's a gap. I'm like, that don't make no sense. Oh, it's not supposed to make sense because it's a mess. Oh, okay. So Brenay helping Akira with the kids. Tim is off. At some point, Tim comes back, and like I said, they're doing like the big family, couples things and all of that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden, Brenay is saying that Devin tried to put hands and feet on her. Like he like bucked up on her. Like he was trying to do something to her. And then, she cried to Tim. She said Tim had came over and they had just finished fighting and she was crying and Tim told her, oh no, you don't have to deal with this. You can come and stay with us. Cause she said she was gonna go to her mother house. But uh, Tim went back and said to Kira, hey, Brenay's having issues with Devin and she can't stay there and she don't want to go to her mom's house because her mom is a quote unquote super Christian and super religious and all this stuff. And the whole time her sister Corinne stay at the house with their mom. I feel like she lived like in her mom's basement with her two kids or something like that. And I feel like her baby daddy was staying there at one point. I didn't deep dive into Corinne because they really didn't include her in the case. But I know she a floozy too. But I really didn't deep dive into that. So yeah, she basically said fake saying like she was abused so that Akira would let her come and stay there. And so Akira thinking like she's doing her a favor or like doing something good by letting her come and stay there. But the whole time what actually happened is that Devin was privy to Brenay being intimate with his cousin Tim in their home and they were having it out about that. That's what they were going back at. That's what they were arguing about. So whether he got violent with her or not, I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what they were arguing about. That's what they were having it out about. And her and Tim, according to Devin's testimony, her and Tim was laid up in their house talking about rekindling. Mind you, I told y'all this was a relationship from when they were 14, 15 years old. They are now legal adults. They got to be like 21, 22 at this point. Like somebody correct me on the ages if y'all know the ages of how old they was when all of this started replaying out. Like they had to be like, yeah, they're not teenagers anymore. They're not teenagers anymore in the least. So they talking about, oh, let's rekindle, let's rekindle. Because according to Tim's testimony, Brenay was his first intimate interaction with a woman. And so Devin had been hearing all of these conversations and stuff, and rightfully so. He's upset, and him and Brenay is getting more and more into it, arguing and stuff. So they concoct this scheme, and Akira gives her blessing for Brenay to come live with them. I don't know why she did that. Especially, like I said, you have two children. Why are you inviting somebody's mess into your home, which is already a little bit messy? Because also, according to testimony, Tim had already stepped out of their marriage with somebody else. And if he only got caught with a one somebody, it was a two, three, and four somebody that he was messing with. So she invites Brenay to come and stay with them because she needed somewhere to stay because her husband was trying to put hands and feet on her. And so at the time, Akira ended up blocking Devin, and Devin was trying to reach Akira to give her the 411 about what's been going on with her husband Tim, who was his cousin, and his wife, who is Brenay, and is now staying in their home. And he wasn't able to get in contact with her, and so he ended up having to reach out to her through Brenay's mother. Girl, yes, this is a complete mess. Yeah, babe. Hold on, y'all, 1 second. Yeah, okay, y'all, I'm back. My child had to tell me something. But she where's that? Devin had to reach out to Akira through Brenay's mom, and Akira Akira basically told them, don't worry about Brenay, like, we're taking care of her. She's thinking that she protecting her from something, or like, um these people is being so mean to Brenay, and like she's trying to help her, and whole time she need to be protecting her kids and herself from that monster, that Mucinex monster that she got laid up on her couch downstairs. So I'm not sure at what point, like I said, the timelines. I'm more of a detail person. So if I was in court, I would have been trying to write down like specific dates, because then that will help me track more about like what's happening. But I know some people is more like event oriented, but I'm not sure exactly when it happened. But Akira started getting uncomfortable, and she said to Tim on more than one occasion, I believe at least 3 times, I think somebody relayed, where they had text message proof of her saying to Tim, like, like, I'm not comfortable with Brenay being here, like I want her to go or whatever, because she felt like they was being inappropriate, and they were. They were absolutely being inappropriate. Hi, Cookie. They were
Coach
absolutely being
T, hey
inappropriate.
Trey. Hey, hey, hey. Sorry, y'all.
You all right, Trig? I'm just relaying the mess I'm just relaying the chaos so we all know where we at. So, Akira at least 3 times said, I'm not comfortable with her being here, whatever. She felt like they were being inappropriate, which they were being inappropriate. Um, and so the final straw, I think, was when Akira found on their shared laptop, Akira and Tim were sharing a laptop, a video of Brenay basically laying out that they were indeed having a intimate relationship in their marital home, because the video is Brenay in their living room, dining room, then family room, whatever the room is, and she's on a video talking real nasty about how she loved what he do and how he make her feel, and all of this stuff. And that was actually a video that was shown for evidence. So that was the point. I believe Akira kicked Tim out, and of course, when Tim went, Brenay went. And so that was the point when Akira kicked him out. That was sometime in 2023, and I believe at that time she was also experiencing a miscarriage during that time as well, because Akira and Tim did not stop having an intimate relationship until 2024. And so during all of this time, though, Brenay is on TikTok, on Snapchat, on any social media platform she can get on, and cyber stalking, cyberbullying. That's where the cyber stalking and the cyberbullying parts comes in at, where she is making fake profiles to harass Akira. She's doing all of this extra stuff, and telling people the truth is gonna come out and all of this stuff. So she continued to carry on social media about this relationship that she's been having with Tim. At some point, her and Devin gets divorced. I'm not sure when that happened, but they actually did get divorced. And then Tim and Akira's divorce was finalized this past summer. And then Brenay and Tim officially got married on September 11th this year. 9/11 is they 9/11 they got married, child. So yeah, that's most of the tea. Like that's basically the case. Or how we ended up with an alienation of affection. Hey Cookie, girl, what you gotta say?
Hey, no, I wanted to let you finish up. Did you speak on the part where they was when with Devin's testimony where he said because
No, I was just relaying basically the
it
story of how we even ended up in court.
how we ended up in
That's it.
court. Yeah, see,
Hmm.
my thing is because do people know that she's representing herself? Like that to me just shows
Did y'all
like
know that? Did y'all know that, chat? Did y'all know that she's representing herself?
she's representing herself. She actually had a lawyer and then advised her lawyer to drop. Like she was like, "Oh, I want to represent myself." And I this is the thing is that if even knowing all the stuff prior, she looks like mentally something's wrong with her. You saying I'm gonna represent myself so you can cross-examine Akira and all this others and do it to Devin. It's really like even the people who said that who are there at court and they're reviewing it, they're like the jury's face when she's doing because she keeps saying exactly or she's not being politically correct because she's lawyers are supposed to they have a certain docket and a certain language they're supposed to be using, so they're watching her perform this. And I feel like mentally where she's at she thinks is doing it like this has to be to make them uncomfortable, which I feel like is going to make her lose regardless of the evidence because you're making it clear to everybody in the court that you are a psychomaniac. Like this is something that you really find enjoyment, like causing these people emotional and mental turmoil. And um
Definitely. Definitely. Clock that tea, Cookie. Clock it.
no, because I took forensics, so we did a lot like in high school. We did a lot of like cross examination, like what like the police, because that's more like a police thing. But we
Oh,
still
oh, okay, Cookie. Okay. So, Cookie, if you was Brenay's defense, what would your defense be? Because basically, her defense is that the spouse is new, and so it was okay. What would you,
um
if you was really her lawyer, what would you try to basically be saying in court?
um well, I don't feel like that's a bad defense. It only becomes a bad defense because of the evidence. But even the evidence is kind of still showing that they had an idea that they were in a relationship. You understand? They like even with Devin's testimony, yes, he was making it clear that he knew, but he was, the part about Akira knowing is another thing because Akira is basically saying she was blindsided. She didn't know. But whether they knew or not, that's not like, I feel like that's not going to stand up because that doesn't defeat the purpose of why are you cyber stalking this his wife? Like it doesn't make any sense. But if I was going to do a defense, honestly, and I feel like that's why she dropped her lawyer because I think her lawyer told her the truth. You don't have a defense. Like because they get certain because they have to get the same, everybody has to get all of the same evidence
Discovery.
before we go to trial. So, most likely that lawyer saw the evidence and was like, girl, no, like you're better off pleading out so we don't go to trial. You go to trial, you definitely gonna lose. And the lawyer is to do what's in your best judgment. And her best judgment with this situation was to plead out. She's guilty. Like, and it's just like you could take it to trial, but and he probably, like I said, he probably told her the truth. We can take it to trial, but you're most likely gonna lose. Like, you don't want, why would you want to take something to trial and you could get a plea deal and try to figure out something instead of just throwing caution to the wind, and you're the caution, you gonna fall flat on your face. And we're watching her fall flat on her face. We're watching it in real time. And what was I gonna say about even with her taunting Devin, asking Devin, what did she ask Devin? Oh, she was asking Devin about him knowing about the relationship that they were, and trying to make it seem, oh, like he wasn't there when they were having, he didn't know that they were intimate. And he was like, no, like I heard you, like I know for a fact, like I heard you tell his child that was there to bring you baby wipes after you guys got done fornicating. And even people saying her facial expressions, these are facial expressions because people don't understand when you're causing trauma and mental distress to people, trauma has different responses. Some people, because everybody's like, oh, me, I would have busted into the room, I would have that. But that is a very traumatizing thing to experience, that you are in a marriage and this is your cousin and you can hear them having relations in another room.
Yeah,
You get what I'm saying?
not just that, but she is a predator, and predators know how to pick their victims. She married him
Mm-hmm.
because he's the type to do
Be
something
able,
like that.
like looking for prey. And I also feel like, I feel like because Akira and Devin are victims. They have been experiencing a lot of distress and a lot of manipulation, a lot of gaslighting, and that does a number on your psyche and your body. But we have to be honest right now, and this is why I feel like trigger space and speaking to all you women, this is why it's a good thing, because even with Akira's support, because the reason why she's suing is because she's owed that money, because she been taking care of this man and he did this to her. And you cannot do that to your wife. You cannot do that to your husband. You cannot have them taking care of you financially and then do wicked things like this, thinking that you're not going to come up with some type of compensation, because she put a lot of money, invested a lot of money in his never happening football career. Because I don't know why nobody sat that man down and told him, you're not going to be the star you think you are.
Big hip town ain't gonna happen, boo. Somebody should have just big
But
hips.
what also
Mm.
comes into play is the family, because I guess Akira was telling people that she's a people pleaser, that she has these tendencies to people please and stuff like that. But even the mindset of, he asked your mother for permission to marry you, and your mother, and he had to convince your
No,
mother that
he
what
asked
he's.
her mother for permission to struggle with her.
Yeah, no, but the mom brought up the financial struggle. Like, financially, how you gonna take care of my daughter? You want to marry her? He said to her, because the mom got on the stage and said what he said to her. He said, I would rather struggle with my best friend than to struggle alone, or some weird stuff. But this is why it's important for people to stop encouraging struggle love. Because me as a mother, that would have been I would have told him, well, you're just going to have to struggle without your best friend, honey. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not going to tell my daughter that she should marry
Girl,
you. If
I
she
would have
does it
told
on
my
her
daughter
own,
to
she's a
block his
grown woman.
number.
But
Don't never
that,
speak to him then.
even with them enabling her, because she was saying that not only did she give him the world, her mother, her grandmother was in law school and was giving them money to help support the family, or help support his career. That's why I said they all going into credit card debt trying to help this bum. And that's
More
where the money
so,
part
he's
is.
spoiled. I mentioned that I was in a different live about it, and he is spoiled. Like his whole life, he has been
No,
spoiled. His mom
he
spoiled
no,
him.
he's
His sister.
enabled.
Yeah, like yes. You know what? You right, Cookie. Enabled. Yep,
That's
enabled
where
for
because
sure.
when spoiled, people who are spoiled, they can kind of, a spoiled person, because I feel like I grew up with a mother that spoiled her kids. But the spoiledness taught us to be like, okay, well, I know I like nice things. So if I know that means I have to spoil myself. It doesn't mean I'm looking for somebody to go spoil me. I have to spoil myself. I got to figure out how to get it no means necessary because I need that. I feel like I need that in my life. I need that feeling of having stuff. So, but when you're dealing with an enabled person, and a lot of men have been enabled, so their bad behavior gets rewarded, their disrespect gets overlooked, and all different types of excuses because people are piece by piece creating a monster. They know Tim's a monster. Everybody watching Tim be a monster. Tim know he a monster because he came into that court. Y'all saw he got arrested for bringing the pew pew into the court. Why you? And my thing is, no, you really need to be questioned because he brought that pew in when before Devin came on the
Hey,
stand.
you guys.
What was he planning to do?
Hey, you guys.
In the
Did y'all see in the comments that?
cornbread.
Did y'all see in the comments that the lady said that that black lady tea time was on live and hit a
Yes.
pedestrian and unalived him?
Mm-mm.
I
That's
see that. Oh my
crazy.
I
God.
just saw that.
I did not hear about that.
But I
I
don't think it's
actually,
the same tea time.
yeah,
That's been,
I saw a live about it yesterday. They was talking, but I didn't keep watching. But they had an article up with her picture on it.
I don't think it's the same tea time that has been covering the
I mean, the tea
case.
time lady, I know that she used to be in like with Saul and Cartel Samuels and all them like dudes like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, her. Because I know it's like two tea times, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's the one with the hers is spelled with the Y.
The why. Yeah. The tea time that's been covering this case with
Yeah,
Black
not her.
Goddess is not her. And I thought it was her and I got scared, but it's not our tea time.
Oh wow.
Good morning,
Sorry
y'all.
to
Good
interrupt
Or
y'all.
good
morning.
I just
afternoon.
wanted to
Oh,
say
Good
wow.
that.
Good
morning.
afternoon.
It's 3 o'clock. I'm hungover. Sorry. Well, I was talking about this
We don't
yesterday,
want
and
to be you.
all my friends and I were
Wait a
talking
minute,
about.
Ray
Oh,
Bay.
sorry.
Ray Bay, wait a minute. Cornbread is before you.
Wait,
Cookie, were you finished?
can I just say one last thing because I wanted to wrap up
Okay,
the
go ahead.
family
Trick, do
enabling
you
and
want to
being.
do the timer?
Yeah. Oh, sure. Do you guys want me to do the timer? I was just letting you guys kind of
It's up
go
to
at it.
you. I was gonna say if you
Yeah,
wanna just leave it open without the timer, that's fine with me. I just it's
yeah.
how
I
you like
just
to run
want.
your
Since
panels.
Coach C, since since this is like your topic, I'm just letting you kind of handle it today since I don't really know too much about it. So it's up to you.
Okay. No, we don't need to do the timers, everybody. Let's just be mindful that we want everybody to have a chance to speak. So Cookie, you can go ahead and state your point, and then Cornbread, you can have your turn, and then Ray
Yeah,
Bay.
I'm gonna wrap it up. Yeah, about the family enabling and bringing that in. Because I want to just highlight how the family kept like they going into credit card debt. The grandmother that Brenay pushed, that this situation happened with her pushing the grandmother. This is the same grandmother who put her name on the lease of where they live because they didn't have the credit to even be able to have that place without her name being on it. And this is the financial strain I want people to focus on, dealing with this man and the even with the family, because like I said, there has to come a point where you say, darling, listen, if you need my name for y'all to get a place and you're married, you need to think about what you're doing with your children's future, because how you going to be affording for your children to go to any type of schooling or what they need when you over here supporting a grown man. But yeah, that's all I wanted to wrap up, because I don't know if people knew that the grandmother, that's why the grandmother told Bernice to leave, because she's on the lease.
Girl, Cookie, I did not even know that, but yes, you
And
dropped
Akira
major
was saying
gems.
that she
Major.
was too scared to, like, not scared, but she's not a confrontational person. So her grandmother was like, I'm a confrontational person. I'm going to tell the fat bitch to leave. Sorry, but.
I think that they were betting on him going to the NFL. I think Tim probably sold that family a lot of dreams because he was like kind of drafted at one point or something like that. But that could be one of the reasons why they held him down so strongly, is because they really thought this nigga with the hips was gonna make it to the NFL for some reason. I'm just putting that idea out there.
Wait a minute, cornbread. Did you just say N word with the hips?
Yeah.
Do they don't lie. You
I'm
know they do
sorry.
lie. His hips do lie.
I'm sorry. The one thing that I jumped on here to say is, I don't know if you guys have seen that this case has made it to People Magazine. She's in the newspaper. It's like international at this point. And my fear is that all of this, even the negative attention that she's getting off of this case, is she's loving it because she's a narcissist. They're both narcissists. I think she's eating it up. And I fear that this is only going to give her more exposure and more attention to the point where somebody could reach out to them and ask them to do a reality show. And they're going to take that opportunity because they're not going to have no more money after she loses this case. So I just hate that, yes, it's bringing negative attention to her, but I think it's going to backfire and like make her even more infamous. And she's going to capitalize off of Akira's pain all over again. That's kind of like my biggest fear right now. And I just wanted to like hear other people's thoughts and how they feel about the traction and the attention that it's getting like worldwide. Like People Magazine? Like, that's crazy.
That's a good that's a good point, cornbread. I don't think fear is what I would feel about it. I think that this is a perfect opportunity for us to be being these types of behaviors and people to be being brought to the light, because as negative as the attention as Brenay and Tim are getting, is they're showing us what these type of people look like, their modus operandi, how they move, what they think, and how they can come into your life and completely disrupt and corrupt it. And despite all of the negativity that's going on, we can still see that there are people who are supporting her and defending her. And it's another one of those, this is another one of those things, like the people who wear the red hats. You really get to see like where people stand at. And I feel like in this day and time, we're in that type of energy as a society of just seeing where people stand at, so you can better know as an individual how you're going to move and operate in your life.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point, too. Well, I just had to say that. I'm going to hop off. Thank you so much for having me on.
Oh,
Thanks
bye,
for coming up,
cornbread.
cornbread. Make sure you
Thank
like
you.
the live and share it out. I'll be stay in
For
the
sure.
comments.
I'm about to follow you right now.
All right, all right, all right. Was it Ray Bay? You still have something to say, sis?
Hey guys, what's up? Good afternoon. I said good morning, but it's 3:00. So good afternoon. Happy Saturday. I was actually talking. What's crazy with what Cornbread said is that I was talking about this last night when I went out to eat with a few of my girlfriends, and we had the YT server, and we're talking about it. And that's how you know, like, it's literally making it to white media. Because when we were talking about it at the table, this YT lady was like, "Are you guys talking about that Brenay and Akira case?" I'm like, "What you know about this?" And she said she's been following it too. So yeah, and just like she said too, this probably will get a documentary of some sort, and I would even go as far to say is they're probably gonna end up, Brenay and Tim are probably gonna end up getting some type of exclusive interview, so that way they can perpetuate their like narcissism. So that wouldn't surprise me at all. I hope Akira can capitalize off of this and maybe write a memoir or a book of some sort. And I just pray for her healing. Another aspect of this that I just found out about is the twin sister being allegedly pregnant by Tim. Like, this whole thing is just like so insane, like all over a man. Like the way that this could have really, really ended on Snapped, and now there's so many layers to this. Like, I didn't even know the twin sister was a thing and that she's allegedly pregnant by him, and that and Brenay hates her too. It just feels like this whole thing is just, for me, the biggest lesson I've taken away from this is how people want to destroy you when they are in the wrong. Like the fact that they went out of their way to like hurt Akira and like borderline destroy her. It's like, I almost feel like they did all of this like they wanted her to unalive. Like, it's just the hatred that they have towards her and the way that they went so hard to betray her, it's like, like, it just goes to show you how you really can do nothing wrong and people can just really, really hate you. And that's what I've learned from this. Like, it doesn't matter how nice you are, how good of a person you are. Some people just want to destroy you. Honestly, like, some people want to destroy you, and it's scary because it's like the closest people to you. So I think it's like important to have discernment, because not to victim blame Akira, but there were a lot of times where she should have got that pew pew. She should have stood on business. Like, there was a couple, situations like Brenay and Tim being asleep in a different room on an air mattress with the door closed. It's like, they were in your house. Like, at what point do you stand up for yourself, I hope that it encourages people who may not be confrontational to be confrontational. Don't let people disrespect you, because that is crazy. That is crazy. But that's where I land for right now.
I'll just say I definitely think that's crazy too. Cause I know ain't nobody finna be laid up in my house together. My supposed husband and friend. I'm telling you, I'd already be in jail though. So they would already be like, you know what, triggered. She just now was sentenced to life without the possibility.
No, like, and just to even chime in, like, I don't condone violence, but are we, like, we have to be serious for a second. Like, y'all really going for that? Like, no, not in my house where I live. That's why I live in Florida.
It would have been Betty Broderick. It wouldn't have been. It would have been a different trial.
It
I've
would
been
have
on
been a
trial for
real
something completely
different
different.
trial.
It would have been. I would have been Betty Broderick. That's who I would have been. Me and Betty would have been cellmates.
I told Triggered on a live yesterday, I said, I've smacked people for less, way less.
I remember when you said that, and I felt that.
Like, way less. Like, I could only imagine. And it just honestly really opened up my mind to the psyche and how, like, I do see how people snap. I do see how these emotionally charged homicides can happen. Like, you really be playing in people's face that badly. Like, this is just on a whole nother level. So I have the utmost respect for Akira, because we can all agree it wouldn't have went like that if it happened to any of us.
Yeah, and that's another thing, because honestly, I find Akira, I'm glad that she did it this way, because I was already planning my revenge that way. I'm taking it to court. People getting sued because if you win the lottery, you come into a car settlement, whatever happens in your life, you get a chunk of money that's coming to me, because I deserve that mental compensation, because I went through a lot. And that's why it's good to document when people are mentally, any type of abuse you're being experienced, whether it's verbal, mental, physical, you need to document it, because you can always sue them people for going through that. But because suing is not just a rich people game. But I wanted to say something, because I wanted to clear up some of the comments, because I want people to get the broader spectrum. I told Zora that I feel like Devin is a victim. The reason why I feel like Devin is a victim is because he was sought out by both of Tim and Brenay. Tim is his cousin, and Tim was telling him, oh, you need to deal with Brenay because she gonna give you some, like, she a bop. So I'm trying to use words to clarify. And Devin had never been sexually with anybody. Brenay was his first person. He was marketed Brenay, pushed Brenay, but I feel like this was all a scheme set up by Tim, because we say Todd. This was all a scheme set up by Tim to get Brenay closer in his facility, because they're cousins. They started doing couple dates, so family dinners. They spent Christmas at Akira's grandmother's house, because Brenay tried to say that as an argument to the grandmother, like, oh, I don't know you, and she's like, how you don't know me and you spent Christmas at my house? So and I wanted to clarify it. Oh, let me say that too about her allowing Brenay to live in the house. This happened because Brenay lied and said that Devin put hands on her, like beat her. And Akira felt sympathy because her mother went through a domestic situation, something Brenay knew to manipulate to get into that house. All of this is a mental manipulation game. The kids, because I think Zora asked about the kids, how are the kids doing? The kids are traumatized. I only say the kids are traumatized because the kids, they had Kara made a statement about the kids being very confused because Uncle Devin and Auntie Brenay, they're now trying to force Tim and Brenay are trying to force the kids to call her mom. So I just wanted to say that so people know mentally where this is going for everybody. It's really like sick.
You know, you guys, I'm listening to all of the stuff that you're saying, and some of the stuff I heard already, and some of the stuff I didn't hear. And for anybody that needs any, I don't know, I guess everybody knows what it's like, but I think that if you are sexually inexperienced and you get with somebody who is experienced, and they can easily manipulate you and have you out here looking stupid. You know, that's why I feel sorry for Devin. I mean, I've just seen, you know, the way he speaks and stuff like that. He just seems like a very introverted guy that just hasn't had a lot of experience. And I think she took advantage of that when it came to him. And I feel sorry for Akira too, because I think it's a big betrayal to trust people and stuff like that and feel like they not gonna do that to you because they cool with you, and then you find out that they are indeed not cool with you like you think. So I mean, I feel sorry for both of them, to be honest. I really do. I feel real bad for them. And yeah, that's all I can say.
I wanted to say too, like Brenay and Tim aren't gonna last for the sole focus on when you build something on a broken home or on the back of somebody else.
Or another woman's tears. Like, you know, they say when you try to build a home on another woman's tears.
Yes.
You're not gonna do it.
And also, like, I feel like it's at the point where even if they wanted to break up, it's like they're so deep into this that like they have to stay together. Like it's just one of those things where it's like y'all have to see it through at least after the child, because it's like they're so far deep. But you know what? They're two sides of the same coin. Like Cornbread said, she's not here anymore. They love the attention. I think the first day I seen a clip like because you know how all those influencers and stuff, they're recording live. And I remember the first thing Brenay said when she saw everyone, she said, "I love this for me." She loves it. She literally said, "I love this for me." It doesn't matter what we think. If we think she's like overweight, ugly, gross, this and that, she thinks that she's the hottest thing since fish grease. Like, and that's the saddest part about it. And I'm not one to body shame, but that is an extremely interesting body type and an extremely interesting looking woman. Like,
It was her around them
She
kids.
said that is an extremely interesting body type.
And she's going to court with no bra. Like, what is wrong with this lady? Y'all see she in court, no bra? This is really her life.
But
no,
that's
like
why I said,
she's just looking a mess, a big sloppy mess.
how could you allow somebody who looks like that around your children? Like, no, you can't come around me and my kids. No, you're inappropriate.
I don't even mean to like talk about her body, but she
Something to
needs
her
a
about
booty.
the way she dressed, like the booty shorts, the no bra. You know, she had conversations with her, but like she keeps saying, she not confrontational. So she's saying it in a way, and
Ain't
Brenay's
no
just like,
conversation. I'm gonna confront you when you are being inappropriate around my children. Either you are gonna correct your behavior, or I'm going to correct it for you and remove you from the presence of my children. There is no conversation to be had. Cause what you mean you being inappropriate around my kids? And I have to say it. I have to say more than one time.
I agree with you, Coach T, and I feel like this is a bigger conversation of like, this is the time where, you know, like that, oh, we're aggressive, we're loud, we're direct. That's your time to shine. Like, I don't care if it's not in your nature. You need to stand up for yourself and you need to be your own advocate. Part of the reason why this was able to go on in her face for so long, and I'm not victim blaming, but we have to have accountability, is you need to let people know, like, this really ain't that. Like, this really ain't that. Like you really got to put belt to you know what and let people know not to play with you. So this is a lesson to always stand up for yourself, no matter how uncomfortable it may be. There's been plenty of times where I had to stand up for myself in situations that I felt uncomfortable or that I felt like I was going to be in the minority or not, or people don't have my back, but you have to have your own back. You have to be confident in yourself to say, this isn't okay and you will not do this to me. And Brenay, you know, she took advantage of the fact that that's not in Akira's nature. And she took advantage of the fact that she knows that she's more aggressive. And Brenay's, I don't want to say she's scary because, she stood up for herself with this lawsuit, but we really have to talk about standing up for yourself, especially as Black women.
But it's deeper, but it's even deeper than just like when we're talking about the kids, it's deeper than just being able to stand up for yourself. Like as a mother, it's your responsibility to be your child's advocate. Fathers have a responsibility as a parent, and you as a mother have a responsibility as a parent. You are failing as a mother when you don't make sure that you are advocating for the health, the safety, and the well-being of your own children. Damn what you going through. If you want to allow your husband to cheat on you and disrespect you, that's one thing. But you don't allow your children to be harmed by people who are being inappropriate and who are abusive and who are predatory. That is your responsibility as a mother, period. You cannot let that fly for anybody. As uncomfortable as you need to be as a grown adult, if you're uncomfortable, imagine how your children feel. If you as a grown adult are uncomfortable, imagine how your children feel. And that's what the bigger conversation needs to be, because we keep talking, having these conversations about, well, adults and she's not confrontational and she's this and she was scared and she was nervous and she's a grown woman. Imagine what them kids felt like. Imagine what her children have been having to go through. She said her kid is acting out and they doing this. And I bet they are, because they can't go to court and file a lawsuit. They can't get on the internet and have people telling their story for them. They're not getting a sense of justice by filing lawsuits and making claims. Will they get probably some positive impact from being able to see justice served? Possibly. But ultimately, the harm is done already. And when Cookie, you mentioned her mom being in DV, now it makes sense why Akira acted the way that she acted, because her mother allowed her to be in a situation as a young person, witnessing inappropriate behavior, witnessing abuse, witnessing grown people making choices that are harmful to the little people around them. And that's what the bigger conversation is. When it comes to the children, grown people make their grown decisions and have an impact on their grown life. But a 7-year-old can't get up and say, you know what, y'all doing too much in this house. I'm gonna have to take my stuff and go over to Granny's, or I'm gonna have to call my friend and because I can't live here with y'all no more. Children don't have a choice. And something that Akira said on the stand disturbed me. Somebody reported that she said, me and my daughter are really close and we're connected, and what I feel, she feels. That's inappropriate. That's inappropriate. You should not be so emotionally enmeshed with your children that they are feeling what you feel. That's not appropriate for a child to be feeling adult feelings. Empathy is one thing, but they feeling what you feeling? That's crazy. No, no. So I'm with you, Ray Bay. There needs to be a level of personal responsibility that we have to take as adults, and especially as mothers, when we are in these situations and making these choices, and we end up in precarious circumstances, and there are children who are being harmed and impacted, because it's not just that, oh, Brenay is trying to make them call her mommy and not auntie. No, it's that they are having to sort out and figure out all of this confusion that's going on with adults around them who are dumb enough to end up in this situation. I remember when I was little and realized, wow, my parents are stupid. Wow, all the adults around me are really dumb. Wow, I'm gonna have to figure out how to take care of myself. And that's the conversation.
I agree. I think that you made so many great points. I also want to say to like anybody who is making like any posts about, oh, all y'all that are talking about Brenay, you're just as pathetic and you're just as obsessive and like this hate train, it's never that serious. It is that serious, and it's always going to be that serious. When you actively try to destroy somebody's life for no reason at all, and there's kids involved, it absolutely is that serious. You wanted to publicly shame and embarrass this woman to the point where I feel like you wanted her to unalive. So yes, they deserve all the negativity and all the backlash. And I hate that I keep seeing people defend it, saying people are taking it too far. They took it too far. That's why we're here.
Yeah, and we bringing shame back. And I don't. And
Cookie must have got a phone call. That's probably what happened.
I didn't want to say, me saying Akira is not confrontational. This is something that she was stating in her statements over and over. So I'm just saying that so people could get a viewpoint. Because I feel like even when I hear other people say I'm not confrontational, depending on how they say it, what I hear is I feel I feel inability to protect myself. I don't feel like I can protect myself. And like even when I was saying about her DV situation with her mother, as far as her mother going through that and seeing that as a child, the impression, and like Coach T was saying about adults having to understand that kids are being affected by the things that adults are allowing, that these all play a part in her not feeling like she can protect herself. And even with confrontation, we have to realize confrontation isn't always like a physical aggressive or things like that. And I don't think that that's what you guys are saying. I'm just saying that in a sense because my confrontation is I'm going to take it all the way there. So I might end up behind bars because I'm willing to take it there about me, about my child, about my family, anything that I feel like I need to protect. And I feel like a lot of people, we end up taking a hard staff because I'm confrontational. I don't care. I don't give a F. And that can destroy your life. And I feel like that's what they were trying to do, was trying to get Akira. I feel like Devin he was just collateral damage. I do feel like the target was Akira, and that they wanted to destroy her. They wanted to do anything that was going to make that woman destroy herself without them having to physically doing it so she could get her own self out the way. And that's what a lot of mentally sick people do to people. But I want Felicia Dom, is that how you say your name? Or is it Philosidom? I want you to be able to go so you can speak your piece.
No, I
Hey
think well,
girl.
Ooh, I
for
like that.
bringing me.
Velocidime. I like that.
Yeah, I like that
Well,
too. What does
thank
that
you.
mean?
It means one not afraid of confrontation. So like a
Oh
warrior.
Lord.
All right, all right, all right.
Fitting for
Thank
the
you.
conversation.
Thank you so much. I was here earlier listening, and so I'm just happy to be up. And you said some amazing things that I didn't even think about in the way in which we perpetuate harm onto children and they can't advocate for themselves. That's such an interesting conversation, but I digress. But what I found so interesting about this, because I was not familiar with Brenay, Devin, Tim, or Karen, any of them prior to all of this drama. And one of the things that I found the most interesting about this trial, and I'm glad that people are discussing this out loud, is because the way in which we've shifted to this divide in relationships between the genders. So it's this whole camp of like people that are opting out of dating, and then people on the opposite end really fighting to try to get married and to be partnered. So when we look at the dynamics that are happening with the dating scene and then see this particular case, I think it also speaks to the delusion or the devaluing of marriage despite what people want. So when we say something along the lines of like, why haven't you been picked? And you're a pick me and you can keep a man and you can do. There is something that's so nefarious about that argument. But then you have situations like this where people have opted into the sanctity of marriage and whatever religious practice they observe, but then still disavow that and snuff on that type of like morality that is involved with a marriage, and now seeing the repercussions of it. So like it wasn't just like this is a quote unquote side piece, right? There were two marriages in this instance, right? Two marriages that were split and divided. And as a result, now everyone involved in proximity to these marriages are now in some way have to rebuild themselves. The ex-husband, on Brenay's point, and then the ex-husband, whatever he's saying, but he's still gonna have to deal with some emotional baggage. The children involved, the extended families of everyone involved. So it's like when I'm looking at this, I find it so interesting when people have these conversations of like being chosen and what that means. But then when the people that are doing the choosing and that have gotten picked, they act in these ways. So when you take that vow in front of your loved ones, in front of your religious worship or whatever, you're making a promise and a commitment to stand on these tropes and this, even though people saying what morality, it is a morality that you're taking. I am going to honor these vows. I am going to honor this person. I am going to commit myself to this and making it work. So the fact that it's not, and now that they're going to pursue this legally, I find that so interesting, because the last time I ever heard of a case for alienation of affection, and it's only acknowledged in like, I think 6 states here in this country, but the last time I ever heard this being used to hold people accountable, not just in community, but in court, was Fantasia Barrino. And Fantasia's case was ultimately dismissed, or I think she was like adjudicated, whatever the case is, because they found that the separation happened before Fantasia got involved. But still, it's so interesting to see this playing out. And I wonder if this is going to make a change in the way in which people pursue relationship, but also how, instead of putting the onus on karma, or karma is going to get them, if people are going to actually start taking legal action in civil court for this type of stuff.
Okay, I wanted to ask you, Felicidom, like in what way do you think is going to change the way people like get in unions and stuff? Like, what was your thoughts on what you think is going to change because of this?
I'm not sure, but I think that if I was to play it like to try to like look in a mirror ball and see what would happen, I think that this case is one highlighting amongst young people and people who are trying to pursue a romantic relationship to view it in 2 ways. One, as a financial commitment, because marriage is a contract. It is a contract. It's a spiritual contract, but it's also a business contract. And also the ways in which you need to protect it as an asset. Because when you are married, you have certain rights legally, whether it's pensions, insurance, homes, whatever the case is, right? So I think what would happen and could happen in the foreseeable future is, now that people are aware of this law and how it can be handled civilly, that people will look at it again and say, okay, well, I'm not just going to walk away to like, for the sanctity of my pride and my ego. I'm going to walk away here with something. Like, you're not going to come into my marriage and break it apart after I made this commitment and worked hard to be in this relationship and walk away empty-handed to make you feel like you got the upper hand on me, because it's not just about ego. It's about, this was a tie to me financially, professionally. My name is dragged, especially in this area of like relationship couple content or YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all these places. And the fact that it could so quickly shift and they could rename channels and all of that stuff. Nah, we got to leave here with something. So I think people are going to start viewing relationships as the asset that it is in the financial market, in the social capital and social currency, that I'm very interested to see if we see an uptick in the states that do allow that.
Oh, okay. I got you. Now I understand what you're saying. Maybe. Zora, you have something to say?
Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
Welcome me to the stage, everybody. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I'm trying to practice my narc behavior. Hey, y'all. Hey, Cookie.
Hi, Laura. Did you need any emotional support money today?
Not the carryover.
You know what? I just want to tell you guys. I meant to tell you guys this. Like, after we had the live, I was blocked. She blocked me. So, yeah. All right. Sorry. So wanted y'all to know that.
She'll be all right. She'll find her a good black man that's gonna support her.
I agree with that, Cookie. You a sharp cookie, a smart cookie. Okay. I see what you mean by cookie. I think for me, I'm like following up with the last share, and I think for Black people specifically, because I don't think this case is going to make legal. It's not going to make legal headway. I don't think so. I don't see that. It's too sectioned. It's too segregated, in my opinion. It's definitely too ghettoized, the way that it's being perceived. Like, this is being perceived in an emotional lens mostly, more than a precedent setter. I'll say that. And then as far as the piece about marriage, I think that's interesting because it's something that I've heard Coach T say often, about it being a feature and not a bug, that underneath the cover of an institution that was made to extract labor from women, women want to rewrite the script. And Akira doesn't end up in that position because of happenstance. She's not in that position because of it's marginalized. She's the main narrative. This is what happens to women, particularly Black women, which is why Black women are the most likely to divorce, literally. I think that if we start taking serious what it is to be tied not just to another person, but a man in a patriarchy that functions a certain kind of way, then the question isn't about protecting a marriage, even though I do agree with that rundown about seeing it as an investment. It's what are you investing in, which brings us back to Akira. Literally, investing in something where she is the breadwinner, she's the homemaker, she's doing childcare, and she's tying Tim to resources through networking in the community. What marriage? What are we talking about? It's almost like if you give somebody a title like married, then you don't have to run down what that actually looks like. I think it might be more helpful if women are still interested in tying themselves to the men specifically who are the most likely to be liabilities. That's just stats. That we should do it more soberly. So not a marriage covering people's actual intentions to do harm, but okay, let me put my name on this deed, right? Let me get my name on this 401k. Let me put my name on, let's make a will. But women are not going into marriages, particularly Black women are not going into marriages, specifically Black women in America, generally speaking, are not going into marriages sober. They're going on there because they have a fantasy of what it means to be valued at a place where they often were wounded, which is why Akira, to me, can't just be a victim, because what about the children? What about the fact that I think Cookie ran it down, and then I heard, too, that Brenay asked, while she's in bed with Tim, for one of their children to come and bring her a wipe. That's abuse. She shouldn't even have access to the children. We're talking about money. And I think they both are important, but I think we get lost in this idea of like upholding this kind of institution when we can uphold what it's supposed to represent so that we can actually go into things soberly. But I don't know if that's too much to ask. And the fact that it's racialized, it means something. It is racialized. I don't know. I'm just going to listen in to the rest, but I just want to add that piece. What do you mean racialized, or can you expand on that part?
I mean that Black women are more likely to be the breadwinners or the co-breadwinners in their unions. That's just what it is. So the fact that Akira is funding her husband while also doing the labor of what patriarchy, or white patriarchy particularly, tells you what you do, which is, stay at home, take care of the children. She's doing both parts, is Black women's experience. And I mean, broadly speaking, that we're the highest participants in the labor force. And when you really look at the details of the both, I don't know what to call them, unions. I don't know what the Devin is. And Devin and Brenay as one character, and Tim and Akira, you're looking at a woman, Akira, who's making sure, because she waited until they got married so that she can know that she can tie getting back her financial investment to the other woman. So she's not tying it to Tim. That's unusual. When we talk about alienation of affection, we're really talking about the person suing the mistress, yes, but not waiting until it marries the husband so that she can sue them to get the fee. So she's basically, it's two women who are the power players in this situation as far as financial. To an extent, Brenay, she knows that Tim is being taken care of. He's being husbandry, the actual meaning of the actual word. So we have a man who's being taken care of financially by everybody, like Cookie said, enabled. And so instead of suing her husband and making him pay that cost because he's not financially viable, she's suing Brenay. So now we have the two people who would normally be positioned as the man in the relationship underneath the patriarchy's definition, white patriarchy particularly, the breadwinner, the provider, suing each other. So what is the man there for? I'm not sure I don't understand
what's going on. I'll
He's a witness because it involves him. So that's why he's there, like court wise, to be like cross
No, she
examined.
means why. She mean basically why have Tim in the middle of Brenay and Akira, period, if Brenay and Akira are who the patriarchy says Tim is supposed to be. Why is Tim even involved at all?
Oh, because he's the
Why?
monkey in the middle.
I
not a
said
monkey.
for DICK. That's what I said. That's what.
That's what I meant. The monkey in the middle.
You don't marry the monkey. You're not supposed to marry the monkey. Because you got two people who got motion is Brenay and Akira. Those are the two people who have the motion. So what in the black community is going on? And by the
I'm
black
glad
community,
you brought that up because honestly, because I feel like the whole thing with Brenay, I don't even think it's about Tim. I think that Brenay really wants to just be Akira. Like, and she just wants.
I think she wants to be with Akira. And I mentioned this to Zora. I think one of
Mm,
two things. I
sometimes it's
think
like that.
that either Akira is collateral damage in the same way that Devin is collateral damage in her sibling rivalry with her twin sister Corinne, because her and Corinne have been at odds. They don't care for each other. I don't think they've ever cared for each other, and they was raised by that mother. So if Brenay is a narcissist, that means her mother is a something, because narcissists are made.
Yeah, her
Narcissists
mother
are not
puts her
born.
and her twin against each other. That
Exactly.
she has let it be known that she feels like Brenay's twin sister is the prettier twin, and that she likes her more than she likes Brenay. But they all the
Exactly.
family are using Brenay for financial gain.
Yeah. So either Akira has gotten caught up in the collateral damage of a sibling rivalry because she was arguing with her sister over a man, fighting her sister over a man, and it really was not Tim. It was just fighting to win, and Tim just so happened to be the thing that the fight was over in a sibling rivalry competition, because supposedly, allegedly, Tim is Corinne's daughter's father. Or I was telling Zora that maybe Brenay, because Brenay has a history of being interested in girls, maybe Brenay did try to solicit Akira or try to engage her romantically, and she wasn't interested. So then she developed kind of like dangerous white female personality, and she just wanted to tear them apart. If I can't,
Relationship.
if I can't have you, then I'm tear your whole life apart. But go ahead, Philosophy. I know you said you want to talk. We doing open panel kind of popcorn style, just like being respectful and mindful that everybody wants to have a chance to talk.
Got it. Okay, I didn't want to cut anybody because everyone is cooking. So I was like, I don't want to jump in before they get their full thought out. But I just did want to speak to 2 points. So just for clarity, alienation of affection is a civil litigation that you take against the third party. You don't take it against your spouse. I'm not sure if I misunderstood that. But then also with the child support claim, there is no legally binding financial commitment to a new spouse when they get married to somebody with outstanding child support, only if they legally adopt that child. And now, if Brenay goes and adopts those children, first of all, she can't, because she would have to, the other primary parent would have to give up custodial rights, so it would be messy, but it wouldn't be possible. But I understand the opposite side of that, saying like, okay, well, she's going to take child support. First of all, I think she's going to file for child support regardless, right? But it does benefit
She's
her to
already
file.
filed and been awarded child support. I think the point that Zora was making is that um I believe Akira did not file for child support until after Tim was married. I believe that's the point.
So she wasn't awarded a child support with the divorce. I thought that was in a divorce decree.
I don't know what the law is there. Where I am at, the way it was explained to me when my parents got divorced, is that you can award child support in a divorce decree, but you have to enforce it through family court. Like in a divorce decree, you can say that they have to pay, but you have to go to family court for it to be like enforceable.
I okay, maybe I'm just like in New Jersey, specifically in New Jersey, when a divorce decree is filed, if there is a child support agreement that's legally binding, the only way you will have to go to family court is if you want to alter the amount agreed upon in the initial divorce decree. So
Okay.
you
You know, it's based on your state.
you wouldn't
North
file a
Carolina
separate child
and North
support. You would
Carolina.
file for increasement.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's just based on the state you're in.
I'm about to say,
Yeah,
because
I know
divorce
because
decrees
somebody got
outline everything. That's
the
why usually they take so long to be processed and why they're so hard to break once they're made.
yeah, I think somebody had posted about it because it may have come out in court, but somebody had posted like the order, and the order wasn't put in place or awarded until after they were married. So after 9/11 this year.
Mm.
Oh, okay. And another thing Zora said, which is so interesting in the way in which it always loops back to race, right? And one of the things that like really scratched my brain in the best way possible, because it just started getting me to start thinking about a lot of other things, is the way in which marriage as a structure and the way in which who benefits from the dissolvement. Of course, no one truly benefits, but financially benefits from the dissolvement of a marriage. And when we talk about the way that white tea women are awarded these large whether it's spousal support or large payouts, and how that's not going to be the case for Akira, but then also the way in which it is viewed by taking action, because marriage and the financial balance with black relationships and white tea relationships are much different because of the patriarchal structure, but then also the way in which misogyny and racism comes into play.
I
So
did.
yes,
I
black
did
women
want to say
earn
something
more.
about that real quick.
Go ahead.
When it comes to like divorce, because I was following, well, not following, but like following, like watching a whole bunch of high profile divorces from white women here on TikTok. They're not like celebrities or famous or anything like that, but they just like regular women, but they were pretty popular. And then I was looking at the comments underneath. Like apparently, a lot of times white men are favored in the divorce settlements, and they're able to leave the women with nothing. So the only difference is that I would say between like black people per se, black men and white men, is that a lot of times white men have something to fight over, but they still get it nonetheless a lot of times. And then, you know, a lot of times the black men don't even have enough for these women to fight after and get over. So I just want people to know that, yeah, those white women be getting okey doked as well. When it comes to like divorce, they're not always getting everything. They be on here crying and complaining. It was like one white lady who helped her husband build up his construction business, and she was doing everything basically. The only thing he was just doing is the labor and getting the guys and getting out there in the field. And he decided to leave her for a younger woman than her. You know, she had been with him since she was like 19 or something like that, and she was like in her early 40s. He left her for some young girl, and he got everything. He had them kids, and she was on there crying about being on food stamps while her husband was in like a $2 million home. So, yeah, I just wanted to say that because that does happen. I think sometimes we think that things are like really, but you have to understand that the world is set up for white men. So there's never going to be a place to where white women are going to be getting over on white men. Not on a high level anyway, if you get what I'm saying. But that's all I had to say. I'm going to be
No,
quiet so you guys can finish.
not at all. Chris, this your platform. You can talk whenever you want, girl. Come on, stop it. But I wanted to chime in and say that that is true, and I think that like you said, is twofold. White tea men are favored in the system in general. Men are favored in court. Period. I can speak to that from personal experience. Men in favor are favored in court. Period. Doesn't matter what their cultural, ethnic, socioeconomic, criminal background is. Men are favored. You have to be doing something egregious for the courts to legally deny you access to like your children or to being privy to information that involves the mother of your children. Like being a single mother in the legal system is like a one-sided marriage. That man can have access to your address, can control where you live, can know how much money you making, can everything through the legal system. That's how the legal system is set up. But the other piece of that is that YT men use the and manipulate the system more, and they're more strategic with it. So I know I mentioned Betty Broderick a few times, And I stand for Betty. I stand for Betty Broderick. If y'all have never heard of Betty Broderick, go look up her case. I remember watching her story on Lifetime, and it was like a 4-part movie. Like, this is like a 6-8 hour series of Betty Broderick. I remember watching it on Lifetime when I was like 10 or 11 years old and thinking like, well, why everybody think that she's the monster? I was really confused because the way that her husband ran it down on her is the same way that men understand how to use law and legality um in the courts. Is it on Netflix too? I know they did a Dirty John series on her on Netflix. Nowhere near as good as the Lifetime series that they did on her. I think it was the early, it's like the 90s, like 95, 98-ish.
Name in the chat.
Lifetime had it on there. It's just the Betty Broderick story. That's literally it. It's like the Lifetime Betty Broderick story. Like, that's the name of it. She's that girl, and she has a snap. They did a snap on her too, because when I say the way that her husband, who is a lawyer, very similar to like this story, held her husband down through medical school. Then he decided, oh, honey, I don't want to be a doctor. I can't do the red stuff. I'm too squeamish. Held him down through law school, took care of him, had all of his children. He systematically removed her from any access to the assets in the marriage. When I'm saying he had dates of when the marriage was dissolved, like he was very strategic about it. And that's why that woman, when the woman Trigger was just talking about how she built that man's construction company, I bet she didn't put her name on none of them papers. And that's how women, when
No, he
Zora
told her
say
not to.
be
He
sober,
told her not to.
exactly. That's how why Zora say when she say be sober going into the marriage and the relationship and have that understanding of what's going on. Because what do you mean I work in your business and I can't put my name on the paperwork, or I'm not like an employee, like a W-2 employee? What are we doing? Like, why would I work hard in your business? That does not make any sense. And so it's almost like women, we always play the fool because we be playing. It's a performance. It's just like in this case, Akira was uncomfortable. She told Tim on multiple occasions, like, I'm uncomfortable with Brenay, but we play the fool. We play a performance. We be doing the stuff. The man had already stepped out of their relationship and she decided to take him back. We play the fool. We do. We do. And we have to be honest about the ways in which we are vulnerable and we are foolish, and how we allow our needs and how we allow other things that go on around us. Like Zora was saying, how we allow the like the cultural narratives to impact and affect us, and it's not really our fault that they exist, but being honest about how do we allow the conversations that people are having about us as BOK women and marriage and worthiness and value to affect us, so we can go in these relationships sober and understanding, like, okay, what you have, okay, I need my name on the deed, I need my name on this, I need my name on a business, on the LLC, like, I need my name on the assets, I need to know how much you got in retirement, like, to be able to come in with that understanding, because like Felissa Dom said, marriage is a business. It's a business. It's a legally binding contract between two people.
And I just wanted to say, like, if we really think about it, Akira got 4 generations in debt behind Tim.
Like, hello? We're,
Her great grandmother, her
is
grandmother,
anybody
her and her kids.
does anybody have any comments? That's why I said the kids literally are having a identity crisis, because I'm surrounded by idiots. Who am I? If I'm surrounded by dummies, who am I?
You know what I want to say too, to Trick's point in cookies and Coach T running it down the way, and the conversation about the racism piece. I want to say the 4 generations is the piece that we have to examine, because she got 4 generations involved. That's a bar, but 4 generations also made sure she was involved. Another bar, literally. They made sure they passed down that if her mother was a DV victim, Cookie, and didn't center her children in that, right? Then the grandmother is playing whatever role she's playing. And then her daughter is entangled. Thank you, Coach D, their DNA. She entangled her daughter in protecting her, because you should not say, that bothers me, that she said that her daughter feels what she feels. How dare you?
What are you talking about? Right. And being the recipient of that, I'm really sensitive to that on the other end of that, right? Because if you can't depend on Tim, then what often happens, women do, and since we're talking about black women, in this case, black women do, is then make their daughter, usually the eldest daughter or the only daughter or the daughters, the emotional bag for carrying what some man is giving you. And that's generational. That's what her mother did. That's what the grandmother is, despite the fact that the role that she's playing. All these people financially enabling and emotionally burdening Akira to then for her to emotionally burden her daughter. So the reason why I brought up the racial dynamic, because I think someone said, well, other people are discussing it and it might set a precedent. And I'm saying that, like, I do think shame is the word I'm looking for. If we have shame being a thing that makes black men the prize, or men particularly, in particular, the prize, then we're not able to soberly look at even white people's partnerships. Because although white women are more likely to benefit, and they also do not benefit, right? Because it's like Trick said, it's still a white patriarchy, so we know what that means. But yet I think often the way that we internalize, and why wouldn't we internalize, look at the history of what we've been through in this country specifically and worldwide. Why wouldn't we internalize that our value is tied to a man when the patriarchy tells us that and white supremacy enforces it? But what I'm saying is we can't soberly even look at that yes, while we're trying to get emotional currency, we've given up. Oftentimes, black women often give up on the financial part because they know they're going to be participating financially. They then go to the emotional part and don't even start evaluating what some people would call a generational curse. I don't kind of usually use that word anymore, but just what Cookie said about the 4 generations almost preparing their daughter to be done in, literally, to say that she has access to an underperforming failure of a person. If we're looking at what patriarchy says, and that's the difference in the black community, is that we don't have the standards for black men. We have none. Where white people generally will speak out the side of their mouths and do something different, we don't even have the lip service of it. Just your presence is enough. So in us trying to capture the American dream, to feel our sense of self-worth and get our needs met, we're sacrificing children and everything else in our way, literally, including our self-esteem that probably was already underdeveloped or collapsed because the women in the family also, I don't know. I'm at that place where it's just like, blaming the victim piece, but hoodwinked and then started to fully participate in the program of thinking that association with the man was the thing that made them who they are. That's how we get here, in my opinion. It's like we can't disconnect the way that the family is moving with everybody in his. And Devin is not a victim. I mean, he's a victim. Maybe we're using these words a little too strongly. Maybe that's what it is for me. But Devin said, well, just again, y'all, I'm basing on what I've been seeing more than all these details that Cookie has. But if Devin is the one who was told by Tim, here, you can have this thing has been damaged and she'll sleep with anything, which is really kind of what's being said underneath, and he goes for it, then he's also not just some innocent party. He knows that no matter if he's neurodivergent, autistic, or whatever, he reminds me of Edmund in that way, I think, that he knows that he deserves some punani. I don't know. Maybe that's...
You know what? I didn't think about it like that until you said that. You're right. You're right. Like what you said about if somebody tells you that this girl gonna go for it, and if a girl is just going for it for anybody, there is something wrong. That is basically you got what you got because you was already on some BS. So you got what you got. So you're not a victim in that situation. And I didn't even really think about it like that. So I do think that that's a good point to make. Yeah. So I think I will have to revise how I feel about that and only look at Akira as, having some reason. And once again, I do believe, like what y'all said, that she should stand up for herself. And especially if her children are being damaged, that's when, just like Coach T was saying, you can't rely on not being confrontational, because what if somebody come up and touch on your child inappropriately? Are you going to say, oh, I'm too scared to say anything because I'm just not that type of person? Then what? Okay, so then now you go from not being confrontational to being a bad mother. So I get what y'all saying. I still feel like, I feel empathy towards Akira, but I do think with what Zora said about Devin, me thinking about that, I think I gotta remove my sympathy for him though, because that is right. That is right. And yeah. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that, y'all. But yeah, y'all making some great points.
You know what, Trig? I think Brenay is disgusting, if I can be honest. And I feel like I can't be over here. She's disgusting to me, the body type included. And I don't mean like, I'm sorry to say it like this. Let me pull back. Because people might not
No,
know
you
what I'm.
don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. Because I said this
You
yesterday. Somebody did tell me I was being
her
eaten in
and
the
her
chat.
doodoo catchers is disgusting.
Yeah, she is built very uncomfortable. Like
Okay.
very uncomfortable.
And I think it has a meaning. I don't know if I'm going too far, but I be thinking that it has a meaning. I'm sorry. I know it's a lot of body positivity, but I think her body thing has a meaning that God was just like, you know what, go ahead and tip over or something. Like, I don't know. Like, that's what it's given.
Bro.
She's bent. She's leaning. You know what I'm talking about? Like she's already kind of leaning. So, for me, just go ahead and dismiss her. She's a narc. My first interaction with her was watching a video. Her image was watching a video of her, and she had Tim in the background. He just came in the scene. I was just horrified by
I
the.
could never watch her videos. They were disgusting. I bet like when Trigger
Come
said that
on.
she had like clicked uninterested, I think she was probably one of the first people I did that to. Cause like I can't watch you cut up no onion. You got them doodle catchers, and then she not. It's just not appealing.
Doodle
But I
catchers.
feel
Okay,
like
I'm in the right
she's one of
space.
those people who look like how she is on the inside.
That's what I'm trying to say, Cookie. Thank you
Like
for the
it's
language. That's literally what I'm trying to say. Literally. And I do mean it. Cat Williams, I said this I think before. Cat Williams had described it. He said all his ops look the same. They all have that little thing under their eyes, like Aries Spears, and he started naming them, and they all have that eye thing underneath. I think there's something to it, but I know it can go too far to like fascism and stuff. But I do believe that, and I can see it and feel it. I was like, ill. So just put her out the thing. Now talk about Akira. I do think at another piece, we don't have to run it all the way down. But my first impression of Akira, just like her tone, like that skin tone comes into this in the sense that, did you think Brenay was a mammy? Because what is you looking at? Why do you give this lady access to your children in a way? And she is disgusting. I'm sorry. Like, it's nothing that Brenay could convince me that she should be around adults, let alone children. It's nothing in her energy. It's nothing in her look. So I don't know if colorism was a factor. But why would you thought that she was like, do y'all get what I'm saying? Like something is going over your ability to see. What you think she was in
I
your house for? If Akira, I bet if Brenay looked like Akira wouldn't have had her in her house.
clock that part. But like I said, she had her cooking her and her family meals with them doodle catchers, and that right there is
Oh, she did.
is
See, you know the details to back up my impressions.
is
Okay. She was
something
cooking.
is something. But I just want to talk about the grooming of black women.
Very dark, and Brenay does not have any children. Coco, nails by Coco. She has PCOS, or she has some reproductive issue. Oh, she was
Mm.
married. Oh, that's what she thought was
No, she
reproduction.
probably
No, that's not the case.
she might
They were
just be
family friends.
diabetic.
No, they wasn't. They wasn't just family friends. They was friends. It wasn't
Yeah,
just like, oh, this is my cousin wife. They was
they
friends.
was like family. That like, cause technically they was family because of the marital part. Cause you know Tim and Devin are cousins, like blood cousins. Now Tim trying to say that's not his cousin, but we don't got time for this. Like he's just a liar. He went on a
And his
stand
mom
saying
on the
he ain't
stand
love his
saying that
wife.
they his
Like
cousins. Come on now. What'd you say, Coach T? I believe it was his Tim's mom who got on the stand and confirmed that they are cousins.
yeah, they cousins.
I didn't say it was the only way that she was around Frenchie. I was saying that just from an impression, I don't know all the details. That I do think that if she had the quote unquote baddie, and she was the same tone, that I don't think
No, she
cousin.
definitely didn't think Brenay was capable of scooping him
Hello.
because Brenay don't look like the same Brenay that he dealt with in high school because they had a relationship prior to like they had a relationship when they were young. And when people say they had a relationship when they was young, they ain't say high school. They was making it seem like they had a relationship in elementary going to middle school or something. And that to me is just another delusion because
Diabolical.
why would I think that y'all still got a connection from sixth grade? Like,
minute, Trent. Then you need to come up here and give us the tea, because you saying you watched Brenay for a long time. I never watched her stuff. I just been catching up. Give us the tea. What you got? What's going on? What you know?
And
I
I
do
wanted to
not know what
speak.
you're talking about. French, you have to come up because you saying it has nothing to do with her being as a mammy. It's the mammy archetype. And the fact that she's cooking for them, I'm saying that she's desexualized in her mind some kind of way, because whether she was married or not, friends or not, if
She did not see that lady as a threat to take her husband.
thank you. Like, what is going on here? Like, several things could be true at one time.
Yeah,
Really?
I sent her a request. I'm not for sure if she'll come up, but I do understand what you're saying. But I
And I
think that
understand what she's saying too.
but you know what I think? I think there are some black women that when you specifically talk about that, now I don't want to be funny here, but I'll just be real. I think that some people live in delusion when it comes to that, because to admit that is to maybe take some ideas of how they perceive themselves or perceive others away. If y'all get what I'm saying,
I
to
do.
admit that people don't perceive them as that because of that. Because I'm
But
really not trying to be funny, but
It's a reality.
yeah,
it's a reality collapse. I know what you mean.
okay.
yeah,
You're trying to force people. You not force, but you are putting people
You
in a
breaking the fourth
position.
wall.
Yeah,
Okay.
you put them
Okay.
in a position to have to self-examine and to reevaluate certain things in a certain way.
Okay, you
So
know what? Excuse me. Let me reframe this. She saw Brenay as a friend and just a lovely person, and just thought that it was no way that she could, like, she was just going to be perfect for her children, because Brenay has great energy. She's the perfect image for taking care of house and home. And that's what Brenay did. She said, oh, okay, I got you. And I'm not even saying that Brenay is not diabolical. That's why I started off saying she's a narc. She's a narc. She's diabolical. I mean, diabolical. And so is Tim. I'm just saying what is going on. What would allow Akira to not see what this thing is that she's bringing to her home? But she was friends with it. So maybe that's the difference. Maybe I'm talking a little bit out of my little pay grade. Because how can you be friends with Brenay? I know I'm not trying to blame Akira for what happened. Brenay is disgusting. How do you not see that? What's going on with your eyes? And I mean, your spiritual eyes, your energetic, emotional eyes. Am I off track? Because I don't have the details, Cookie, Coach. I don't have all the details, but like,
no, I no, she looks shady, like nothing. Okay, so I'm gonna tell y'all something. Back in the day when I was in hair school, right? There was a young white tea girl that was going through it with her because her mother had passed away from breast cancer. So she ended up being adopted by a lady and her husband at church. So she was 19. She was a virgin and she was having difficulty staying there with them and all of this stuff. And she ended up meeting this guy on Plenty of Fish. And I said, hey, you know what I'm saying? You're a virgin. You don't know these guys. This is the first date you're going on. You should stay away from this guy. Don't date him, blah, 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 blah. She didn't listen to me. So she ended up dating this guy and he gave her first kiss and she started just getting her nose open, because, hey, she's 19. This is her first, and she hasn't had intercourse at this time, but this is just her first experience with, a man. So she ends up getting kicked out of because everybody is really religious. They're really, really, really super religious. So, she doesn't have any place to go. Right. And so me and my husband, I tell my husband, I'm like, hey, this girl in my school, and then keep in mind, I'm way older than her. I'm a grown woman. I'd say, hey, babe, I would like her to stay with us because she needs some help. And I know that she was a nice girl. Like she wasn't like that. She wasn't no girl that was going to try to do anything. And even if she was, my husband, I know people will probably say I'm stupid, but he's really not the type of person. I'm not even he's not the type of person. So I said, cool, I'm gonna let her stay because I knew from her character that she was straight and I already know my husband's character. I let her stay. Everything was good. The only issue that we had is that I was sad that she left to go get with this guy that ended up doing these things to her and that wasn't right. And I knew that it was going to happen to her and I tried to save her, but she didn't listen to me and I felt so bad about it. And it was a long story without going into all of that. But I'm saying I trusted her because I knew her character and everything worked out as far as everything worked out as far as, for me and my household, nothing crazy happened. So I feel like sometimes when people see people, you have to look at your judgment because this is not the first time I've had women, or somebody that may need help And I just felt like, not that I think that, I just feel like you're a problematic person. You can't be trusted. You know what I'm saying? Not that I'm afraid of you doing anything, but I don't feel comfortable with you in my space because you just seem like a bogus individual. So I just think that some people, yes, I think their discernment chip is broken and they may not be able to recognize bad people. And I do think that if you have even an ounce of discernment, anybody looking at Brenay should be able to see that that is a lady not right in the head. And I mean, I knew when I first saw her online, all the rings, all the bracelets, just everything that she was doing, just weird. Like, I'm not saying you can't wear rings, but I think that why are you wearing a ring on every finger, even your thumbs? Why are you wearing like a whole bracelets up to your elbows on both hands, jingling everywhere, like
Can I just
like
say it
LL,
gives?
like what? It's
Can
jingling,
I just
baby.
say it
What are you
gives
doing?
that? Go ahead, baby. Can I just say immediately rings on every finger immediately gives me nasty that you don't wash your hands. And that's all I get from it. Cause I don't wear a lot of rings because I don't like having to take them off. Even if your jewelry is real or whatever, you should still be taking off all of those rings when you wash your hands. That's what it gives to me is that she's not a clean person. Like yeah, and like friends, like we could never be friends. Like her character, she's just have too many character flaws that is just like alarm, screaming, alarm character flaws. Like it's just, ugh. It's just yeah, she just a nasty. She just reeks nasty negative energy, and it's not even just about like how she looks. How she looks makes it worse. Like her energy is unbearable even through a phone screen. So I'm having a hard time understanding how how in person, like how does she present in person that people can't see that she's disgusting? Like, and I think that it's an important point to bring that people's bias and their internalized colorism or anti be okayness and how women socialize with one another. I think that that plays a role as well when you look at somebody like her and you are in Akira and you're looking at somebody like her. It's almost as though you have been programmed to believe that somebody like her can't, you know, can't do better or can't take anything from you because, why could she ever be able to?
And you know what I was thinking? I was thinking that it's just I feel like the logic of like some of the women that were in the chat not understanding what Zora was saying are also in the same vein as the women that oh man, I'm gonna be this is going to be a little bit politically incorrect, but I have to say it. It's the same ones that are like 500 pounds that listen to Shira 7 that think that they're going to go in a bar and find a man that's a bajillionaire, that's the top of the top, that's the most successful man of all time. And all he's going to do is pay all of their bills and put them in a $5 million home. And they're just going to be treated like a princess and all of that. That type of delusion. You know what I'm saying? Like, and being unaware of exactly how the world works and how people perceive certain type of people. And it doesn't mean that it's not like you're less than or anything, but you know how the world works. And or some women I feel like are so delusional that they believe that, like Frenchie just said, that's what I'm saying. That's the delusion I'm talking about, because it's like you said you've seen it happen. Like in how many cases? You mean in 0.00001% of cases? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just it just doesn't make any sense. Like honestly.
I think it's layered. I think that what Frenchie is saying is that yeah, she was associated with the family, so she trusted her, but she trusted her because she believed that somebody who looked like a Brenay was not a threat to her. That's
Even if
why.
she
It wasn't just a
trusted
family thing.
her,
Okay, Frenchie. Let me just say this to you because you said quite a few just say it's not your reality. No, it's not my reality. It never will be my reality. But I would just say this is that use a lie, use a lie. I like when we talk about the percentage of millionaires that are even in the population, which is less than 10%, be fucking for real. And I really wish you would stop. You know what I'm saying? No, it does make others delusional. It makes you, but I'm not about to go back and forth with somebody that won't even get in the box and say what they feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even gonna do that. I'm not gonna have a conversation with you. Cause like at this point you irritate me. So I'm gonna stop talking before I end up
Akira
blocking you
did
later.
not trust that lady. She was in them text messages telling Tim how much she ain't trust this lady, how much she wanted her gone. If she had trust, the trust lasted for like maybe a week. Like the trust was what she trusted is that that thing could not pull her husband. That's what she trusted. And that's where she got
But
messed
Kiki,
up.
there had to be some level of trust too for her to leave her with her kids. Like Brenay was
No,
helping
Tim
Akira take
left her
care,
with her
babysit her
kids. Like
kids.
Tim did that. Tim brought the kids over there so he could go hunch on Brenay in the other room with her
No, I'm
husband in the
talking
other
about
room.
when Tim was away at school. I've heard a piece of the lore is that Brenay was helping Akira with the kids while Tim was away at school. That
Mm.
didn't happen?
But she need. I think. Well, I don't know if that happened. But if she did, she needed.
Okay.
You know, she needed the help. And her grandmother, her great
Right.
grandmother can't do it. Her great grandmother in law school in debt.
Right.
Her grandmother in debt because they all helping her with the Tim situation. And that's why I wanted to speak
Hmm.
on black women being groomed to take care of bum men. Because if you learning anything from this, it's to not hold a brother down because see, Akira did exactly what these men sit on TikTok saying every day. And what happened? This mess happened.
The same thing that we get up here and tell them is gonna happen is a man is never gonna appreciate the fact that you are okay, Frenchie, you're doing too much. You're doing too much, Bookie Boo.
Just ignore it.
I'm gonna just
You
go
you
ahead
can
and mute
block her.
you.
You can block her. Cause she already pissed me off.
Yeah.
You could
Yeah, I
just block
just
her.
don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, boo. You don't have to be here for this conversation. It's okay. But
I feel
that
like she probably the same
um
type as Brenay. That's probably why she really in her feelings.
oh
She probably a Brenay her
that
doggone self.
That's what I've been. That's what I've been. People when people keep saying people are defending Brenay and these mindsets, I said, oh, because they just like her. Like there's people,
they
people
believe it. Yep.
they know they do these things. I'm saying this because I've experienced that. I experienced something that looked like it came out of the swamp in the middle of the darkness come for me and be like, I'm gonna harass you online, not because you did something to me, not because I actually have a problem with you, but just over the monkey in the middle, and not because you disrespected me through the monkey in the middle, not because you dating the monkey in the middle, but just because you're the placeholder. And when you deal with people who they don't you could tell who don't like they self for real, so they start attacking. I just told my daughter that it's one thing to have insecurities. We all have insecurities. That's fine. The only time it's a problem with your insecurity is when you start hurting people due to the insecurities you have, because that don't got nothing to do with nobody but yourself. And people don't know how to do that because they don't want to, and I don't even want to say have a glow up, but we see how Akira and Devin look, and they done been through all this stuff. They don't look like how Brenay and Tim look. Brenay and Tim look a hot mess
Busted and disgusted. I'm sorry, Trick. I ain't even did my mod
with
duty
the
since we
hips
started.
bust
Make
on
sure
the
y'all is
seams.
busted like a busted can of biscuits. Make sure y'all tapping the screen and liking up the live. Always, as always, we appreciate Trick for allowing us to have this conversation. As I said when we started, we always gonna sip tea and have a key, but when you talking about intelligent, be okay women in a space where we can have the real conversations, we gonna get into some real stuff. So, we gonna sip the tea, but we also gonna, read the tea leaves if y'all catching my drift. So make sure y'all tapping the screen, tap, 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 and sharing out the live. And this is an open panel. And anybody in the comments, Frenchie was invited to come up. Trent, I know you're doing your schoolwork, girl. Good luck. Keep studying. I hope you finish out your semester strong. But y'all more than welcome to come up.
And I think that's the problem we dealing with, is that people don't want to, like, I know it's hard to be in the reality of things, but the reality is that you have to see, you got to see the, what do they say, the trees through the forest. You got to see what's going on so you can understand it's not people saying, oh, somebody who look like that could never, not somebody who act like that, look like that, dress like that, talk like that. Like, it's not just one thing when it comes to Brenay. It's her whole being of who she is as a person, that is like, no, that's why she thought that that could never happen, because she's a undesirable. But it wasn't just because of the way she looked, it was the way she acted, it was who she was as a person.
You know what I want to say too? I think it's so interesting because I don't know. I really be trying to play with talking to people who are more standard listeners and thinkers. I'll say it like that. But I thought it was interesting because someone came in the chat and said that Akira has ADHD and they suspect that she might have autism or something. I don't know if that's true. I don't know anything about this girl. I haven't seen her speak or anything. Cookie. Um, I know you have all the details, so I'm not sure if the autism has even come up in her thing. But I do think neurodivergence, it just is layers, right? So colorism is a layer, it's just one angle. Neurodivergence is another one that does not allow you to understand how deeply diabolical, quote unquote, neurotypicals can be. So, but on the other end, it also lets you kind of read energy. So I don't know. I really am not sure.
I didn't hear anything about Akira having ADHD or the autism. I know she said because of everything she was having, like extreme anxiety attacks, that she was passing about by restaurants and places that they used to double date at, and was like her body was reacting and she was having panic attacks and anxiety attacks from it. But I didn't hear
Yeah,
really.
she's in therapy. Her therapist actually testified to
Yeah,
that.
yeah, no, I would assume that her therapist would come and, say that this is something she's experiencing for legal purposes. But I don't know as far as like the ADHD and the autism, but I don't feel like it would be off. But I don't think, even in my opinion, because I'm not a doctor, I can't really diagnose nobody, but I really think it's from the child, her mother going through DV, and because
You
people
know
don't
what,
understand.
Cookie? We definitely gonna clock that because that's
Because
something Dora and I have talked about.
it's the
We gotta
mental
clock
toll
that.
of it all. Like it's the grooming, because people don't understand when you put in your
Rewires your
children.
brain. That trauma
Exactly.
literally
Like,
rewires your brain.
I sat in therapy and I had, well, it's a breakdown, but not really, because I'm just crying. And I'm just like, when I thought about it, I was like, oh no, I was groomed to be this. This is actually heartbreaking. Wait a minute. I feel very like you feel like you're being put in a position where now you're being set up not to win, because now you're functioning different than you should be functioning. You're seeing red flags and they're green to you. This is normal.
Wait a
That's not
minute.
normal.
Wait a minute. I am Chantilly. Brenay is on the spectrum too. What, the big nasty spectrum?
What is
We not finna play. We not finna play. Like,
Renee
please.
is on she needs a mental evaluation, because something is her and Tim. Something is
I think
very
it's
wrong
just
with
like
her.
personality?
Zora said. I think she's just, yeah, she has some kind of personality. I think she's an irk, and she has those Machiavellian
Yeah,
traits. I
she
think
probably does have a
she's just an irk.
borderline personality disorder.
Yeah. Hi, Trent.
Hi,
Welcome to
everybody.
the panel. You said you've been watching from the beginning, so girl, give us the tea. What's going on? What you think? You think she gonna be found guilty? What's
Oh,
been going on? What's the
she's for
real
sure
details?
guilty. She's for sure guilty. That's not even up for debate, because I can't even remember exactly when I first knew of Brenay. I would see her on my For You page. Like, people be making fun of her. So I'm like, who is this girl? Why are they always making fun of her? Let me dig deep. So I got to know that, okay, she was married. At the time, she wasn't divorced yet from Devon when I first knew of Brenay. And Tim and Akira were still married, just separated. Him and Brenay were already together. So I found out that she lied to Akira that Devon was putting hands on her. And she didn't want to go to her family because she said her and her mom were having issues, and she's not really close to her twin sister because everybody says her twin sister is the prettier twin. So she didn't have anyone to go to. So Akira was like, okay, if you're so scared, you can come live with me till, you guys resolve whatever. And that was how she moved in with Akira. And yeah, eventually, Akira started noticing some stuff. Like, there's a bunch of videos on the internet, like when they were making TikToks and Brenay would be in these little short shorts, but Akira would be fully clothed, and Brenay is gyrating all over the place. That was when Akira like started, noticing that some stuff was wrong with the girl, and Brenay didn't want to leave until Akira found what she found on the laptop. So that's what I know. It's just so weird.
Yeah, see, if I was Akira and she was doing all that gyrating in my kitchen, I would have been right on her live. Like, why are you gyrating in my kitchen for? Like, what's all that what's all that motion going on in here?
Yeah, no, Brunei is weird. Trust me, like I wouldn't even have someone like that as a friend, but I would say like Akira just thought it was cool because probably she was married. I feel if Brunei was single, then she would have been like, oh no. Because probably Akira expected Brunei to respect her own marriage and then in turn respect Akira's marriage as well. You know what I'm saying?
I can see that too. I just think it's several
Hold
different
on one
factors
second.
up
Hold on one
down.
second. One second. Trig, you in here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Not Trent. I'm sorry, not Trent. Trig. Trigger.
Oh, Trig. Oh, okay. I thought you
Yeah,
said
I'm in
Trig.
here. I'm making some meatballs, y'all. So I'm rolling the balls. I'm rolling the balls right
Oh, okay.
now.
Our friend Frenchie is upset about being blocked. Do you want me to block her other account, or do you want her to have a chance to come up? Because to me,
Frenchie can come.
she
Frenchie,
was doing too much.
what was she? She can come up, but if she not trying to come up, then block her. But she can
Yeah,
come up.
Frenchie, you can come, you can request to come up and Trig can let you up, but we don't do the keyboard thugging in the comments. This is a space you can share your opinion, but it gets to a point. This is not a space for you to be doing weird stuff in the comments. You can come up and share your opinion, but you're not going to be going back and forth with the host and doing all of that extra stuff in the comments. So you can go ahead and request it up, but we're not going to have the comment thugging. Come on.
Yeah, so you can come up. You got like 10 seconds to come up in the request box. After that, you gonna have to get hit with the block. So, all right, I got a request. Okay.
Hey,
I
welcome up.
haven't I haven't really been following it, but I heard a theory that Brenay and her
You're
sister.
Frenchie? Are you Frenchie?
No.
She not
Oh,
Frenchie.
okay.
No,
It's
Frenchie.
Tina
No,
Snow in
Frenchie's
the
still in
chat.
the
It's Frenchie.
Okay, hold on, best sis, hold on, best.
Okay.
Y'all said her name is what in the chat? Tina Snow.
Tina
Tina
Snow,
Snow.
1023.
Okay. Tina Snow, which is never mind. This is just too easy. Tina Snow, Frenchie, you got 10 seconds to come in the box. 10. I'm gonna give you 10 seconds. And after that, you're gonna
Well,
get blocked
don't think she
again.
can even come. I don't think she can even come up because she don't have enough followers. So I'm gonna just go ahead and block Tina Snow 1023.
Yeah, block her,
She
block
got
her, block her,
she
block
got
her.
0 followers and 0 following because that to me is a red flag. Um, is a red flag anyway. Is that you were told or given a specific instruction in a space and you couldn't even follow that, and then you went and made a whole new account. You know what? Never mind. She Brenay. She doing what Brenay did. Never mind. Go ahead, Best.
Hey, Renee.
Cause I mean that's weird. Like if I was in a space and they muted me or blocked me, I just wouldn't go back in that space. I wouldn't try
Got in
to
on a separate account. I wouldn't.
I
I'm
wouldn't try to
sorry.
circumvent people's consent and try to come back and have an aha moment. Like, oh y'all don't care about people. Like, girl, that's you doing too much now. Come on.
Okay, so the theory that I heard was that Brenay and her twin sister were fighting over Tim, and Akira and Devin just were in the way. But
Yep, I
that's
said
what
that
I heard.
earlier on the panel. Yep, I said that
Yeah,
earlier.
I
What you
I
what
fully
you
agree
think,
with that.
Bess? You think Brenay is based off what you know, you think Brenay is gonna be found guilty? What are you thinking? What you
She's
think about the panel?
cooked. Like, I would have just gave it up. I would have been like, I surrender. She's done with. I would have surrendered immediately. Like,
I mean, if y'all
she recorded it from the beginning. How do you document yourself cheating?
exactly, the videos are sick. Like they're sick. The TikToks are so sick. The things she would put in the videos, like when Akira miscarried, Brene was always posting like pregnancy tests, talking about, oh yeah, she's gonna have Tim's baby, and yeah, and it came out. It came out.
Really?
Yeah, and it came out the time she was doing that. Akira just had a miscarriage, from the stress of the whole thing, and it's just fucked up. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
She's gonna get what's coming to her.
You were responding to the
And she
colorism.
deserves everything
Other
that's coming to her,
Yep.
the
honestly.
other thing, but I can see why it's a sensitive thing. For me, I'm gonna tell you what my sensitivity is. It's the children that are involved. So I see why, so she really is diabolical. She is diabolical, right? And I didn't even know that piece about her trying to mentally abuse her after having a miscarriage. My issue with Akira is her not having boundaries enough for her children. If the children
Yeah.
had been involved, I would probably be saying the same things y'all are saying about Akira. It's more on making her the victim because she was violated. I just want to be clear that she was violated, right, on several different levels. My issue with her is having that thing around her children. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Like, that's where my triggers come in. That's where my emotional kind of volatility. So that's what I'm just like, and I like to do deep dives of the reasons why people may go over what they know what's best, and so I'm just adding different factors. So we got different ways of looking at it. But I'm sorry that whatever that energy is, no way would I leave it alone with my children. I don't, that part I can't quite reconcile, but the rest makes
Baby, I
sense to
wouldn't
me.
leave Brenay to water my plants for a week and I was out of town.
Someone else brought up, and this is me just like wanting to add to the conversation and not knowing what the hell I'm talking about when it comes to the details. Someone just added that her sister needs to be have her behind beat too.
Oh
What?
yeah. Oh
Somebody
my
run down the
God.
sister T. Like, I need to hear about
I
the sister.
I hate Corinne. I hate Corinne. I hate
Oh
Corinne.
my
I
God!
hate
Can I get a
Corinne.
trigger warning? What the f is going on? Excuse me for the YouTube can see. Cookie, can we get something like some kind of my?
This is Akira and this is Brenay trying to be just like the woman that she
Can
admires.
Oh, I
you Trick, can
see
you see it
it.
on the big screen?
I see it. Yeah.
I
Just
can
next
do
time
it.
I'm
I'm
warning this
trying to
before
see
you
what I
put
can
Brenay
do.
up there like that, Cookie.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to show you
Trigger
guys
making them meatballs.
I'm
how much
Let's
she
see
fixing to
this.
admire
look right
Akira.
now.
Oh dang.
Wanted to comment real quick before we moved on from it. Something that I've been looking into and something that I've personally been exploring in my own personal life. I am Chantilly mentioned like, oh, Brenay is on the spectrum. She has the signs because your daughter is diagnosed as on the spectrum. Something that is so dangerous for people who are neurodivergent and is on the spectrum is a narcissistic person because the traits or the character, the the behaviors or sometimes the presentation of narcissism and on the spectrum can overlap, and that's what makes people who, if Akira is neurodivergent, so vulnerable to a person like Tim and Brenay who are showing Machiavellian narcissistic traits, is that people who are neurodivergent are very open to the possibility of multiple realities. So it's almost like you convince yourself that you are not seeing or witnessing what you're seeing and witnessing, and that makes you extremely vulnerable to somebody like a narcissist who their main priority is to disrupt your reality, is to
Yeah.
present to you an alternate version of
Yeah.
reality so that they can control and manipulate you. So when you're looking at somebody like Brenay and she's behaving in a diabolical way, and you're like, oh, she might be on the spectrum. No, she's a narcissist. People on the spectrum, sometimes their behaviors present the same, but the intent and the motivation is different.
Yeah.
People who are neurodivergent understand multiplicity and multidimensionality and many realities because we exist in them all the time. I understand that my inner world is a certain way, but the outer world is a different way. And so I'm always willing to consider what somebody else's point of view might be. And it's dangerous when you do that with a narcissist because they're
Mm-hmm.
trying to manipulate and control you. So
Mm-hmm.
no, do not say Brenay is nor that she is a Machiavellian. And
Yep.
it's on clear
Yes,
display
I
with how she
agree.
has
so
I
conducted herself.
agree.
I am so glad you said that because I have a real disdain and a real earn in my heart when people do this. It's not the neurodivergent people because every time somebody do something that's out of order, everybody want to say they slow, and I know that's not the correct term, but I'm gonna say it because every time somebody did some weird stuff to me, they like, they slow, no, that's not the same thing. That's not the same thing because people who really got not neurodivergence, they don't act like that. This is a mask. This is something they portraying. This is manipulation. This is This is something deviant. This is not that. So when people don't understand that these people who are manipulative like this, they see neurodivergent people, and because they prey on people like that, they start to develop their tendencies to mask, so people think that that's what's wrong with them. So people just go, oh, she just got arrested, development. So they write it off. It's the same thing as when people say I play stupid.
Yep.
You know what I want to say, and then I know it's new people on the panel. I'm so glad you ran that down, Coach T. I'm so glad you followed up, Cookie, because it's one of my pet peeves too, and I think that's probably why I just kind of go to what I'm seeing without kind of running it down for people to, you know what I'm saying, not be like, oh, Kira's a victim too. Yes, and I get it, especially with this picture. Like, it makes it real clear, Cookie. For some reason, this picture is like painting the whole entire picture for me. The fact that she's in the front, and probably Akira chose the outfit first. I think the difference is the word you said, and a friend of mine gave it to me. There's a difference between neurodivergent and neurodeviant, to be honest. And people do confuse the two and excuse and enable the people who move deviant like Brenay does. And because Brenay upsets me so much, because people who are neurodivergent or often have mental health as opposed to personality disorders are more likely to be harmed than to harm. So it does, it gets in my, I don't know how to, I'm prickly about it because it's so diabolical, but at the same time there are children involved, right? But from just a all adults perspective, this is effed up. It's effed up because both of them have traumatic stories. Both of them do. But one chose to be a predator, and I would stand on it that Brenay is a predator.
She is.
She
She's
is
predator.
absolutely a
She
predator.
is.
I'm gonna let you go, Lydia. I just wanted to respond real quick to I am Chantilly. Yes, we know that special needs people know how to trick people, and they trick people so they can get more cookies, not so that they can sleep with their spouses. And I think that you should explore a little bit more how to help your child understand how to be yes, neurodivergent, the spectrum. For me, when people say the spectrum, I've been wrestling with and exploring how the spectrum is neurodivergent to narcissism, is a spectrum of behaviors and mentalities, because a narcissist is somebody whose mind has been warped, and it's not a neurodivergence like Zora said, it's a neurodeviance. It's a deviance in their behavior where they are purposefully trying to manipulate and harm people to bring about their demise and to their detriment. A person who truly has special needs, they're not trying to sleep with somebody's husband or take somebody's husband and completely destroy them and cyber stalk them and all of this other stuff that they're doing. And so if you do have a child who's on a spectrum, I would encourage you to just learn more about the overlaps in the behaviors, but the differences in them. So then you can help your neurodivergent child not be vulnerable to the harms that these narcissistic Machiavellian people are going to try to perpetuate against them, because it's going to happen. That's just how it is, because
And
they're vulnerable to it.
they like to choose their perfect victim too. Like they don't do it to just anybody. They like to pick a specific kind of person, which is Akira and Devon to me, someone that's not as confrontational and stuff. Because I've seen it in real life. I've experienced it, and it really is sick how much it changes you as a person, and it really alters your reality. That's why I feel so bad for Akira, because I haven't had someone, sleep with my husband, but I've had someone try to change my reality. It's like I'm seeing one thing, but you're trying to present another thing. Like, it really messes with your mental.
This is true.
Thanks
Yeah,
for waiting, Lydia. You can go ahead.
okay. First I want to say it's definitely true that yes, they pray after certain individuals that display certain, personality types, ones that they think are more susceptible to manipulation. Second, I wanted to bring up the idea, since we're talking about Brenay possibly being neurodivergent and whatnot. I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with borderline personality disorder, but if you think that she may correlate or align more with those types of, that type of personality disorder.
Oh, you guys, Ashley, you have something to say, Ashley?
What
I just
what
wanted
is
to give like
um
different.
Lydia, what is borderline? Is that dissociative identity? Is that what they called used to call dissociative identity?
No. That's DID, borderline personality disorder. It has more to do with it's more say I'm gonna use it in an example. Say you're in a relationship with someone. It's being very obsessive over that person and displaying unhealthy boundaries and behaviors towards that person, but it's not just normal unhealthy and it's not just normal unhealthy behaviors. It's to a level. It's like I said, obsessing over that person. In comparison to Brenay, the way that she is the way that she is behaving towards Akira, like pretty much absorbing her personality because she knows that's what Tim liked, essentially. Absorbing Akira's personality to become more, favorable towards Tim, if that makes sense. Yeah, over
Hmm.
attached, like Zora said in the comments.
You know what? I just looked it up really quick, and borderline personality disorder is a part of four types of cluster B personality disorder, which in that type, so the cluster B personality disorders are antisocial personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, histrionic personality disorder, and narcissistic personality disorder. So you might be on the right
Yeah,
track with that. We
yeah,
in the right idea with the cluster B personality
yeah. I was
disorders
saying
going on.
borderline with narcissistic tendencies, but when you said narcissistic, borderline personality, that probably is it. But I also think she has a attention deficit because I try to tell people like a lot of people have attention deficit disorder, and if you go look up the symptoms, you'll start to understand why people kind of act the way they do because it's a lot of them having because it's kind of like it's like a branch of ADHD disorder,
Hmm.
but it's more of like the things that cause it to be more chaotic, in my opinion.
So,
Okay. I'm gonna do my mod duties. Hold on, Lydia, one second. I'm gonna do my mod duties real quick. Make sure y'all tapping the screen and liking the live. Make sure y'all sharing out the live. Thanks for all the ladies on the panel. Thanks for everybody in the comments and including those who being a little strange. We still appreciate y'all for supporting Trick and supporting this platform where it's a space where we can come and talk about these things. I would also like to add a disclaimer that we are not mental health professionals. We is just up here yapping, kikiing, sipping tea, and sharing our thoughts and ideas. You had something you wanted to add, Lydia, before Ashley went?
right. Oh, and also like, yeah, I'm bringing up the idea, or we're bringing up the ideas of what Brenay could possibly have. We don't know this lady, like you said. We are not mental health professionals, so it's just throwing out ideas, and that's all it is. I was asking, I think it was Zora who brought up attention deficit disorder. That will be ADD instead of ADHD, correct?
That's
Oh,
Cookie.
okay, okay.
It was Cookie ADD.
Okay, so it's just ADHD, but without that what's it called, hyperactive, or what's the third letter? The H.
Yeah, the H is
Okay.
hyperactivity, hyperactive.
Okay, so yeah, that's definitely, but that does fall under the neurodivergent category. But yeah, I was just clarifying that part.
Are
Trying
you
to
ready to
add
go?
before I leave. I can't remember who it was that spoke about Corinne on the panel that Akira is
Who's Corinne again? I'm sorry.
Brenay's twin sister.
Oh
So
yeah, oh, yeah.
yeah, apparently when they were teenagers, I think Brenay had Tim first, and then they broke up, and then Corinne and Tim messed around. So I think that's another thing, like this competition between twins. So that's what I think this is as well. You know, she's trying to like get her lick back because there are old tweets of Brenay and Corinne like talking about, oh, every time I have someone like my twin sister wants the person, I just can't have anybody for myself. Like those tweets are out there. So I think that's part of it as well. It's just like something their mom never fixed because it really is sick to be with someone you know has for sure
had relations with your twin sister.
I was also seeing when I was scrolling through the
You gotta go up
videos.
there to Ashley. Don't
Wait
forget
one
Ashley.
second, Lydia. We gotta let Ashley go.
Okay.
Serena, are you dropping down?
Yeah. It was nice being here.
Okay.
See you,
Thanks for
Trent.
coming up. Good luck. Good luck
Thank you
with your
guys.
semester and your school.
Bye.
Details. Study well.
I will.
Study long, study strong.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye. I was just trying to piggyback off of what Trent said
Wait a minute,
about.
Lydia. We gotta let Ashley go. Lydia, we gotta
Oh,
let
okay,
Ashley go
sorry,
because she's been
sorry,
waiting
sorry,
for a while.
sorry.
Hey, I just wanted to give maybe a different lens of the situation. Brenay, I feel like the different videos I've been hearing and seeing, it seems like this is a childhood thing as far as seeking attention, sleeping with people, which looks like it turned into a very bad habit. If you don't get it fixed, it grows. You keep on seeking, to do what she has done. I think as far as Akira, I don't think that she has any mental, but I think if we look at the fact that she just had a baby, we got postpartum, we trying to do a thing like other people may see us as far as the marriage, because it gives a background. I've been in church. It's a certain way that we have to respond to things that people do to us. In that aspect, I don't think that, where I'm from, like if that was to happen to me or in a situation, I fight. As far as her situation, she might not look at it as I fight. I need to, her mother is a lawyer, so they might do things a different way, see things. Because even in a lot of the text message, she was very forgiving to him.
You know what?
Ashley, do you know how old the
Was
kids are?
Ashley
Because
finished?
that's the one part that I keep missing. Like, I know it's two kids, but I have no idea how old they are.
They're young. They're really young. I think they're like 6 and 3. So we have to also put that in there, that a lot of the videos that Brenay were twerking in, she's got a baby on her hip. So that mindset, I had a child and I went through a lot postpartum, and just not in my right mind to see like, oh, this girl not for me, or this person not for me, or that was right. I didn't see it until, I came a little bit better, my child older, and then I'm like, oh, you've been acting a fool.
Yeah, it's the
You know what
postpartum.
I'm saying?
It's
Oh,
the
you've been
postpartum haze.
doing
I
it.
understand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also you got a parent that he had to go and ask her parent, can I marry your daughter? We don't know the background as far as what it gives, like they hold a certain standard. So I can't act the way, like, as far as me, like, my family don't care. I've seen marriages where they go down, get married at the courthouse. It was a whole or thing. Like I have to ask her hand in marriage. I have to, be an upstanding guy. I'm in college, so they're gonna support me because I'm with their daughter or their granddaughter. And then
That's interesting because Zora talked about that, about how there's been a lot of perversions and bastardizations about this whole gender roles thing, where on the one hand they saying, oh, let's be traditional and let me ask for your hand in marriage, and I'm the man and all of this, but on the other hand the women are supporting him.
yeah, yeah. And poor Devin, you got a man who, this first relationship, darly in love. He was a virgin. Like, it's so many things that play. Cause, I've seen a lot of videos. People are like, he should have spoke up. He should. But think about it. Like, when I lost my virginity, that was my first love. A lot of things that man was doing was like out of line. You couldn't pull that on me, grown as I am today.
Yeah, that you
Cookie for
brought up.
coming
Oh,
up. Thank you, Cookie, for coming up. Go
you
ahead,
brought
Lydia,
up
you wanted to respond.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say that Ashley brought up a lot of good points, and like from beginning to end when she was talking,
I think the first thing you said, it was about Brenay not getting a lot of attention as a kid. So it transpired to how she is today, having
Yeah,
all
not
these.
just attention. She dead ass wrong, but I'm saying as far as the sexual thing, that's a
Right.
sexual thing that keeps repeating. Even the stories that I heard, I even saw a girl that went to high school with them, and they said the twins were, hey, they put anything in their mouth. You know, they did anything
Right, right.
to please somebody or be, you know, get the service done back to them. So this not, you know, and it grows.
So
They're
if we know,
growing.
so if we know that, right? Okay, so if we know that, and we putting that in context, how much responsibility does now Akira and Tim have to their children in this situation?
They
What
got
do
a
you
lot of
mean by that?
responsibility. Like, you mean to hold them accountable for allowing her to come in?
Basically, what's their responsibility in making sure that their kids are safe, healthy, and loved?
I think if Akira can possibly pull this off in family court, I think she should gain full custody based on that's my opinion, based on the behavior shown from not Devin, Tim and Brenay,
Wait,
because I
Lydia,
do
you too
not
far
think
ahead.
they
Let's back
are
up. Wait, you too far ahead. Let's back up.
okay.
Let's back up to
You talking
let's
about
back up to the
prior
core
to
court.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about prior to any of the court. What responsibility do the parents have to their children to make sure that their children's health, safety, and well-being is being placed first before all of this adult stuff?
I think they have a lot of responsibility. I just think, I mean, I can't speak. I can only speak. We can only speak on what we see and what I would do. Cause that, I mean, hell, she would have never came, brought her ass up in there. But also, she used the abuse card. Oh, I've been abused, so can I stay over here? So as a friend, you trying to, you know, you being abused. I got kids running around. I need some help. Help me.
But even that is sick because why would you invite somebody's mess into your house like that and you know you have kids?
You do, but if she, like the messages says, she did tell Tim, hey, I don't feel comfortable. But if they're going traditional way, the way that marriage people in the world say marriage is, then yes, he's the head of the household. So I have to do, you know, he's saying ain't nothing wrong with
Oh
it.
no,
I'm
no,
tripping.
Ashley. I'm married. I've been married for 16 years. I'm gonna tell you right now. If my husband said that we about to move this heifer in, no, we not.
No,
I don't care. Ain't no
I
head of the
agree. I
household.
totally agree with you. But we do have people who go by that tradition. I mean, we
Right.
just being real. I
I mean,
mean,
But
yeah,
that's what I'm
pick
saying.
me
But it's
women.
not.
I mean, I
But
feel
that's
like
not even
it's
an
pick me women
excuse.
because I feel like if as a woman, if you're willing to go against something that you know you don't feel comfortable with, you know that's not right, that don't sit well in your spirit, just to
uh-huh.
put some type of like antiquated. Oh, the man's supposed
Yeah. But how many times did she take him back? How many times did we hear that she forgave him in the text? Like in those text messages, she was pleading, like, okay, you know what? I was tripping. She dumbed herself down so many times instead of saying, hey, get you and her get the fuck out of here. Sorry, can I cuss? Ooh, sorry.
But that is the perversion, right? So that's why
Yeah,
I'm saying like this whole thing is just so wrong on so many levels. It's so
yeah,
layered and wrong on so many levels because how you gonna say that, oh well, I'm a let my husband be the head and he's not even the breadwinner. Y'all aren't traditional. So it's
yeah,
something deeper
yeah,
and more sinister going on. You can't shirk your responsibility as a mother to your children by saying, well, I let my husband be the head because that's what the Bible say or like that's what the tradition say,
yeah.
and you're
Yep.
paying all the bills. You
Yep.
can't
And you
do
know
that.
what?
You can't
Can
play
I
the
say
role both
something?
ways.
Can I say something? I just wanted to say, and that's exactly what I be wanting to say all the time when people talk about marriage and talk about relationships and talk about partnerships, is that most of the time when people speak about things that sound really crazy, people are never working from the way it's supposed to be working from. They're always working from the perverted idea of it. You know what I'm saying? Because of that all of that's a perversion. The whole you're doing what this man say.
Yeah.
He's disregarding what you say. A whole true marriage is that if she didn't feel comfortable and he said, hey, I'm putting this to you, would you like to do this? And she says, no, I don't feel comfortable. The healthy way is to, okay, no, then it's not going to be done because you don't feel comfortable. You don't want me to
Right.
do it. And there's so many
Right.
people that speak on it is that it's a perversion. And then we talking about patriarchal mindsets, just like Coach T said, you want me to follow this tradition of letting the man tell me what to do and letting the man run me, but you're not doing what you need to do under the same idea, which is paying the bills, which is
Right.
not being a bum,
Yep.
Right.
which is not being a loser. But I notice a lot of times in the black community, we let
Yep.
black men do that. And I don't
Absolutely.
understand why. They want to pay, they want to be the boss without paying the cost. And
Yep.
that's not how things work. You're not gonna be running around here acting like you got the big nuts when I'm over here bringing the bacon home and cooking it, nigga. What? What in what world is that? Sorry, I mean, sir, what Negro? What in what world does that work? Like honestly, it's just nuts. I
Yeah.
don't know
It,
what to say.
in my opinion, it's them needing to have a sense of control, and they're using the excuse of traditional households and everything to keep that control, even though, like you said, they're not going about it in a traditional sense whatsoever. If the woman is still paying the bills and making the money and keeping the house up, it's not it's not traditional. The men just want control over, their household,
And I
and they
don't think he
feel
wanted
not masculine
control.
enough when they don't have that control.
I think he just saw money and grabs to it. You saw, so let me ride along that, because also that's why he so quick to go with Brenay, because she willing to pay for everything. You willing to pay for the divorce. You was willing to pay for some watches, some cars, anything that man wanted. You willing to pay.
And you know what? I have one more thing to say. And I don't know if any, it's a lot of black women up here, so y'all can tell me if I'm wrong. But I really think that, you know how like people talk about like gold diggers and stuff like that as far as being women. I don't think anyone ever really talks about how many black men are gold diggers specifically. I think that black men are by far the most gold diggingest out of any of the men, maybe even more than some races of women as well. Because you always gonna run across a black man that's asking you what your job is, what your car is, where you live at, trying to find some way to mooch and sponge off of you. And I think that is
Hmm.
something that we don't talk about either. Like that is not normal. It is not normal
Yep.
to be with a gold digging man, a man that is trying to get you to do everything. He gets all the benefits of so-called being a boss, but he wants you to do all of the labor behind it. I don't think nobody ever talks about that. But gold digging men, being that like you go on a date and they call you big money. I remember going out on dates with men when I was single back in the day on Black Planet. And anytime a man was saying, oh yeah, big money. Oh, I see your car. Oh, I see where you working at? Okay, you'll never see me again, Negro. Nope, nope, nope. I know a gold digger when I see one. You ain't
Yeah.
about to be laid up in my house and I'm finna be paying all the bills while you sit there and cheat on me while I'm at work. Yeah, no. Nope, nope, nope.
Yeah, these are the double standards in our community, and there's plenty of them, and it's definitely a conversation to be had. There are so many, like you said, gold digging men, but it only when it's a woman trying to, settle down with someone and see what they can, what they can give her, is she called a gold digger. So I definitely agree there are many gold digging men.
You know what I think? I think that with black men gold digging, they may not even realize that is what it is, because in the black community we are brainwashed to believe that the black man's presence is of value. He don't have to do nothing else. He don't have
Yep.
to have a job. He don't have to make you
Yep.
happy. He don't even have to have good penis, good wood. All he has to do is sit there and be present in the home, and that is the presence. That is the present. That is the money. That is the gift. Even though that don't pay nobody's bills, that don't
Hmm.
keep nobody off the street, that don't pay nobody car note, that doesn't fill nobody's cup up emotionally. And because I've seen so many black men and I'm sitting there looking like, you walking around here like you really are that guy, and you not. And the reason why they feel that way is because so many black women have lied to them, just like they lied to Tim.
Yep.
Honestly.
Men love saying, what do you bring to the table? That's their favorite line.
Black men love saying
And
that.
sorry, Zora, what were you saying?
I'm sorry, I was just saying black men love saying it.
Yeah, they love that line. And it's like, I can ask you the same question. What do you bring to the table? And more times than not, it's not much. It is not much.
I want to say that I'm early. Is that what it was called? Trig, Coach T, the people who are here early when I said that this is racialized and people were giving me pushback. Or I mean, that it's about gender and the way that the black community queers up everything and turns things inside out. Or so are we here now? Have we now arrived? Because
We've I think it was some women that just didn't want to get, they don't want to accept it. Just like the other lady didn't want to accept what I said about the appearance and things like that. It's some people they can't accept it. I think it's like almost like a cognitive dissonance, maybe.
And it keeps us right here where Tim and Brenay and Akira and Devin are not outliers. That's what that keeps us. And I think maybe that's why I come off the way that I come off, even though it's not intentional. It's definitely neurodivergent. That I've arrived here and I can run it down backwards, but I just think that people are just like, I miss those steps of running it down the way that Trig just kind of ran it down about the racialized piece. And it's weird that, because I think Ashley made some great, like she added layers. And as a person who likes to think, I'm always like, that's my fuel, right? It's like when people add layers, whether I agree or not, but which the layers I think are important that I think maybe open Trig up to like run it down the way that she did was, one was religion. Two was the overvalue of marriage, or the Trig calls it the perversion of, and three was childhood trauma. That's what I heard Ashley say. That to me makes these things make sense. It makes these people, the players, the roles, the behaviors, the generational enabling make sense. And people choosing sides and leaving the children completely out of it.
Right.
As if the children don't matter, because also, little be known, we know that white people, I'm sorry to say, so straightforward, because I don't know, let me stop playing to the crowd, but to so straight, white people don't give a f about children, so we already know that, right? They see them as for the most part objectification. They've been able to shelter their children from the types of harms that black people have experienced because they're doing the harming, generally speaking, right?
Right.
However, what we don't go into is black people in our relationship to children. That's where it gets, now we got to take hands off. Now it's all, this and that. This is what happens. But when does it stop? Because I think Coach T asked a good question after Ashley and Lydia spoke, which was, so what responsibility does Akira and Tim have if they know that Brenay and her sister are from a family that experienced childhood sexual or sexual harm, literally as children? We're supposed, I think Brenay spoke to that, or someone spoke to that. I heard that in their stories, and that their behaviors are matching up. What responsibility they have to make sure their children are also harmed, or are they also victims of it? And that's why everybody don't have any boundaries.
Right. And I want to say that I forgot what video I was watching and when this conversation took place, but I think it was in the courthouse, and Tim was on the stand. And he recalled a story where, not Tim, sorry, Devin, Brenay's ex-husband. He recalled a story where Tim and Brenay were getting it on in the house, and the children were in the house. And Brenay asked, I think the son, to bring her a wipe to wipe down. So that's already showing that the children are not in the safest environment when Brenay and Tim are around, specifically Brenay. I know Tim is their dad, so he should be, what's it called? This responsibility is on him for the most part, more than Brenay. But around any children, whether they're yours or not, you need to make sure that they're in a safe environment. So it's on both of them.
And you know what? I did want to say something real quick. I wanted to say, I just want you guys to know that when people talk about like this, I don't care like people's thoughts on marriage or religion. I just always want people to, because I know that I'm married, right? And I fear that, is it a fear of mine? I think so. I don't want you guys to think I'm stupid or that the things that I say, I don't live by. Because I think I've said this before plenty of times in lives, is that I feel like your word and the things that you say are the most important thing out of anything, because sometimes your word is all you have with people. Like I use this example all the time. If you're somewhere and somebody stole something. Am I cutting out? Hold on.
Mm-mm. I hear you clearly.
Oh, you fine. You sound good to me, Lydia. That might be you.
Okay. I just wanted to say it's like, it's kind of like I said this all the time. Like if someone stole something, but it wasn't you and there's no way to prove it, but if somebody knows that you're really trustworthy, they know you stand on your word, then your word is enough. So I think your word is very important in how you living by what you say and you mean what you say. So when people say these things, I just almost like a knee-jerk reaction. Well, wait a minute. That's not the way I live my life. That's not the way I perceive it. Now, other people, yes, I know plenty of other people that believe in God, or even just, they may not even believe in God, but they may be married and they may have these messed up systems of how they view relationships, or how they view a man, and how they view a man is supposed to be in charge of them, and all of these other things. I just always want to give it to a point of just saying that some people understand that all of those thought processes are perversions. And none of those things are going to push forward a long lasting relationship. If you want to be married, or you're trying to make it work and last, and you're trying to actually be happy. And I'm talking about where you ain't seeing him upstairs, or you somewhere else, or you cheating on him, or he cheating on you, but y'all are actually happy to see each other and be in people's presence. These type of ideologies, you've got to get it out of your head. Like, a person is not the boss of you because they have a penis. That's not how things work.
Absolutely.
That's not how it's supposed to be. You know, a man is not going, oh, I get the final say so because I got a dick, or you're supposed to submit to me because you have a vagina. That's not how things work. Really. In a healthy partnership, that's not how it works. You talk to them, they talk to you, y'all work it out, y'all get it through together, and y'all come up with a solution that is beneficial for the both of y'all. And then sometimes you may have to, if it's not something that's that big a deal, you may have to acquiesce. If something is not that big a deal, they may have to acquiesce. But it's nothing about no submission or nothing like that. I have never even had a talk like
So
that.
you're not supposed to go. So you're not supposed to go to their parents and ask them if they could struggle with you.
Definitely not. And the whole 50-50, just all of this stuff is just things that I personally in my life don't do. And I never saw it in my life either. Like, even with my mom, like, she didn't play no games with my dad. Like, she really didn't. So I don't know. I just want to say that, because if people wonder why that's the first thing that I just always go to, it's just I go to because I don't want y'all to think that that's the type of time I be on. Because I do not. Okay, I'm a mute now, y'all. I just want to say that.
I wanted to say something to that, Trick. And I'm spitballing, okay? So it's just, I'm gonna go ahead and say that. But I think there might be a difference, because what I see of when the layer of religion and traditional marriage was brought up, I see what you're talking about as a perversion as the actual main feature, and what you're talking about as an deviation from, even because it is healthy. I know the numbers support that, but I'm not sure about the institutions themselves, because what I notice when you tell your parts of your story is that you, what's the word when you defected? You defected from both once. And then that makes a difference. I don't know if you get what I'm saying, but I'm saying that, like, for the religion that you were brought up in and the marriage, the first marriage, you decided no. There's a difference between a person who can say no at that intersection and then do something healthier the second time around, than a person who is using that to cover their deviant behaviors.
Yeah.
Okay, I get what you're saying. But can you explain it to me
Yeah, I want to say it
more?
like this. You're
Yeah.
willing to sacrifice the institution itself and the image that it carried to keep you as a safe person to be something wild, considered wild by the institution that had named you. So the institution that you grew up in, that you didn't have any choice on, right? And that was maybe a community institution. I don't know. But when you speak about it, it seems like broadly, as a cult, you defected from that. and then you defected from your first marriage. You were willing to sacrifice the image of what often, and this is the shadow part, that Black women will not sacrifice for their image, which is that they did not fail at an institution or they did not displease God. You are willing to go and sit with whatever that causes when you are raised in that type of environment, to value that and to literally take on your values like a soldier. You were willing to do that by
I'll
yourself.
tell you. I'll tell you when I decided to leave my first husband. One of the brothers from my congregation told me, this is your husband. You've lost your virginity to him. He's the only person you've been with. If you leave him, and you're on your own now, you're worthless. You've lost your virginity. You're gonna be out here, basically a worthless woman that is
Jezebel.
you might as well just give it all up, and you might as well just you're just done. You're done. God is disgusted with you. We're disgusted with you. And I
Yeah.
when they, because I actually believe that as well, because I'm thinking to myself, like, this guy, like, this is the only person I've had intercourse with. I thought, this is all that I'm supposed to do. And, he was beating the brakes off me. So it was just like, what y'all talk about? Like, it's either you want me to be with this man so that I can have this, like, image of, oh my goodness, I've been this virgin. The only person I've been with is my husband, while I'm getting, beat down, or I have to go ahead and
Right.
leave. And when I did suffer shame. I did see people. I moved out of the state that I was in, but I would see those people and they would look at me like I was out there shooting up or something like that.
Yeah.
So I will say that, yeah,
Did
I did have to kill a part of myself to almost become like a rebellious
Yes.
individual. So yeah, I get what you're saying. I get you that is some truth to that.
did the church excommunicate you for that, for getting a divorce?
They didn't actually communicate me. I just stopped going. I just stopped
Okay.
going.
Okay.
They wanted me to do something like formal, but I just didn't do anything, because for me, I felt like for me to even do something formal and disassociate myself is to me give you power that I even have to do that for you. I don't have to
Yeah.
do nothing. I'm just
Yeah.
not coming no more.
Right.
You're not
Right.
worth it.
And
And I think
did you
before
guys?
I wanted to let that rest for a second. Hold on, Lydia. Let me just say this real quick. Yeah, I wanted to say that, and I'm glad we're scaling it out like this, because that's an emotional decision that a lot of people cannot make.
Yep.
And it's to be able to sit with shame, internalized and externalized, and be willing to face the wilderness of both of what those things cost. Literally. So when we're talking about those institutions, that this circus show is actually more of a feature than it is something that's off brand. It's actually on brand the way that they're behaving. It's on brand to name scriptures that back up and uphold the behavior of all these characters, the adult characters in this. So yeah, I think that's to sit in, like, so that it's not you double speaking, is that you're speaking from being willing to face that wilderness and then try to do it in a way where health and your wellness and the wellness of your children is the thing that's actually on the forefront. I think, and that's why I think that you can have a conversation with somebody like me who's sovereign of those institutions, and still we can have a bridge of speaking, because we both have that willingness to sit with the thing that people won't name of why they stay in institutions or situations or dynamics that are actually harmful to them, and more importantly to me, their children.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I definitely agree. I'm gonna say to somebody in the comments that said, you said that in the Bible it mentions like ways that you can get a divorce. I just told you, I said he was definitely doing that. So he was definitely doing that. But I mean, you guys, I have a very complicated I would say belief system, because like I said, I believe in God, but I really believe that the majority of people that you see are not of God, and they are put here for the sole purpose to mislead others by their piss poor examples. So I mean, for mostly organized religion or churches and things like that, I'm not even with anyway, because most of it is full of hypocrisy, in my opinion. Now, this isn't to say everybody, because I do believe that there are some people that believe in God that are actually really trying to do right, but I believe those people unfortunately are in the minority. So that's already a problem in itself. Not to make this a religious conversation. So I'm gonna make it that way.
It is a religious conversation because they are Christians or they purport themselves to be Christians. Like Brenay made content when she was married to Devin that, she's a Christian wife and this is her Christian
Yeah, but
husband and
Brenay
they're
is
going to
definitely
be
not a
married.
Christian. Brene's
No,
a
she's not.
Brene's a thought, and I would say something else, but we online, so I'll be nice and say a thought. She's a Christian thought, but she's not
She's
a
what my
Christian.
grandmother would call a trollop.
Yes, trollop is a great word. It's a great
Hmm.
word. Yeah, I think she's a gutter snipe. Okay. She is exactly what I feel like is the embodiment of Christianity today, which are people that behave like that in private, and then try to be something in public. So
Right.
yeah.
Hmm.
And they think grabbing the title of being a Christian is going to absolve them of all their sins and all the harm that they've done when they're not actually doing the actual work that it means to be a Christian. They pick and choose what parts of Christianity that they want to align themselves with. And you said that this is a religious conversation, and like Coach said, like it is because Brenay was
Is Lydia breaking up for anybody else? Or is it
Christian,
just
or
me?
she's
She is.
yeah, yeah,
Lydia,
we
you
can't hear
breaking
you.
up. Lydia, you breaking up.
I
Yeah.
am okay. Yeah,
You
my
got like
hold
one
on. Let me
bar.
try.
Go ahead, Ashley. I see you had came off of mute. Lydia got one
I'm
bar.
just agreeing with everything. I really do, ladies. I love this panel. I think it needs to be more conversations that's real like this, to get everybody's opinion, and we can agree to disagree, but also we should be able to learn something in these moments that we have in these types of conversations. I'm sitting over here really cheesing because I like it. I like the conversation. I love the
This your
different
first
views.
time here?
It is. I
Oh, well,
like it.
welcome. This is Trigger. This is Pig Trigger. We always have these kinds of conversation. Today, we said we was
Okay.
gonna have a little key and sip some tea, but it turned into what it needed to turn into for us. But we always have these conversations, so make sure you follow Trigger. She also
Yeah.
is on the Red app too, and her videos on the Red app are hilarious. So make sure you follow her
Okay.
on
I
that one too.
did. I
Oh,
think
now,
it's
Mike
just
Coco,
real.
welcome, y'all. Welcome.
Can you guys hear me better now?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Let's see.
Okay, good. Yeah, I agree with Ashley. This is my first time here as well, and I really am enjoying these conversations. I don't see a
All
lot
right,
of these
y'all
spaces on here.
don't be sucky by like Brenay. Make sure y'all like Triggers Live and share it out and follow her on the Red app and tap the screen and give her gifts. Like, she built this space.
Right. Can I ask what you guys heard when I was saying what I was saying before I started cutting out?
Yeah, you started Borgin basically at the part when you said that it is a religious conversation because Brenay, and then it started like kind of Borgin.
Okay, yeah, I was just saying that because Brenay titled herself as a Christian, even though, she's not displaying. Well, I mean, I guess she's displaying some Christian behaviors, not the actual Christian behaviors like she should be. And also, we were talking about how I think it may have been Ashley. I'm sorry, or it may have been Zora. It may have been both of y'all. Sorry, I digress. Talking about how to, when you have children, how to make sure that you are. Hold on, 1 second. Sorry, my dog was barking.
Oh, okay.
Okay, what was I saying? Oh, when you have children, how to make sure that even when you are in these institutions, how do you make sure that you are prioritizing your children's well-being? And I feel like within the Black community, I'm speaking specifically the Black community. It could be also other communities, but I feel like especially us who are religious and are in the church, we let things slide that we definitely should not be and that are not the best for our children. So I feel like, yes, it is an important conversation outside of Brenay and Tim and all the drama, but it's a real life issue that many of us deal with. Not all of us, but many.
I have
Definitely. I think
thoughts on the
welcome
religious
to the panel. I
piece. Yeah, I was just about to say, but I know there's some
okay, go
new
ahead.
people on stage, so I'm gonna go on mute and wait. But if it is,
Okay.
yeah, I'm literally like thinking about the religious piece, but I have a question about it after I speaks.
I and I. How do you say your name? Ayana?
Oh, Ayana, yes.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, Ayana, you can go ahead, and then after Ayana, Monica can go. We haven't seen Monica in a while. Hi, Monica. Go ahead, Ayana.
So I was, typing and stuff like that, but I would say like right now, I just turned 29. I have a daughter. I'm with her father. We aren't married yet. Um, we do consider ourselves to be followers of Christ. I think the main issue with, even though I understand this is about Brenay and the whole situation, but it all ties in because we have to start checking the fruits of the spirit when we are not necessarily just consuming content from people who considers themselves to be Christian, but just anybody that we are either looking at or following, whatever, the case may be. We have to, you know, make sure that we're checking for the fruit
Ayana,
of the
Ayana,
spirit.
no disrespect, but I gotta interject, and I really don't even want to, but I feel like to somebody that's listening, it's going to be glaringly obvious what's going on. So I'm going to say it. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Like when I say about people and Christianity and the reason why Christianity gets a certain type of look, right? And this is no judgment. You know what I'm saying? No judgment for you or anything. But you say that like you're with your daughter's father, y'all living together, you not married, but you a Christian and a follower of Christ, and then proceed to start talking about the fruitages of the spirit. That's already a contradiction in everything that you said. And anybody that knows anything about Christ will know that. And then people that have turned away or they don't want to do it anymore, or they've seen all the hypocritical things that people have done and said, the pastors, the money, the people doing this, that, and the third, and saying one thing and doing another. That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's like those things
So
make Christians look bad when you come from a perspective of talking about like, oh, we got to do this and we
can I
got to do
finish
that
what
and
I
we
was
got to
gonna
watch
say?
this. Just a
Can I
minute, let me finish. But you're not living fully by it. If you're not living fully by it, that's cool. We all make mistakes, but it's just like when you openly say it and then go into something else, it just automatically gives it a whole bad look. And I really don't mean it to be disrespectful. I just mean it for anybody that's listening to that they can see it so that they know that all of these things is what adds on to the problem of why people perceive Christians and Christianity and believing that the badness is the representation or the hypocrisy is the representation more
but
than the smaller
it's
percentage of the
not
people.
though.
Yes, it is. It is though. It
No,
is.
I'm not you're cutting me off and you're not letting me
No,
speak.
I cut you off because I wanted to make a
You did,
clarification.
I
Or what?
understand
Can
that,
you
but you
not do
have to
that?
let
Can you
me.
not do that? This is your first time being here. Please respect me. I don't wanna have to drop you. I don't. Because I want to hear what you have to say. But regardless of whatever you're about to say, you can't take away what you just said and to segue into where you went. That you can't get up out of that. And but you can go ahead. But I just
Okay.
wanted to call it out for anybody
What I
that will be
was
able to see it. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I don't take it as disrespect because as people who follow Christ, we're gonna fall short. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that anybody is perfect, and
Falling
I don't
short.
think
Okay,
that.
so I gotta interject again. Falling short is not living in a state, a perpetual state that you're doing every day. You can't ask for forgiveness for something that you're doing knowingly every day. And that's what you're doing. You're doing it every day. And I don't even want to do that. People say things all the time and I don't say anything because I don't care. Everybody has their own walk to do. But because of what Zora was saying about Christ and Christianity and about people and the things that she said, the things that she said, those are rightful concerns that she has. I can't say that they're not. But if I don't say anything about this, it's just like, that's just another thing to add to it.
I
So
can't take
yeah, that's all I'm saying.
I can't take my daughter back. You know what I'm saying? It was a
No, but
mistake that
you
I
know what you
made.
can do? You can't, never mind. Let me not, I don't want to, because this isn't about that, but okay, I'm not even going to say anything else. You can't take her back, but you can take the constant state of what you're doing right now away. You can, but you're not doing that. So what I'm saying is to say that and then go into a segue about Christianity and the fruitages of the spirit and all of this other stuff, it makes it look like a joke. It
But
looks
it's
hypocritical.
not a joke.
It
It's a
is a joke. It is a joke though. When you say something
So
like
if
that
we're
and
in
then you
okay,
go
so
into
what I'm
that,
so
that's
if
what it
we're
looks like.
engaged, if we're engaged to get married, we're going through the process. We're going through a whole
Engaged
court
is not
battle.
married. Engaged is not married.
I
It's still not
understand
married.
that. I
So
understand
and it's
that.
not a problem. That's not the problem. If you came up here and said, "Hey, I'm with my dude," whatever, I would have never said anything. But like I said, for you to say that and then add followers of Christ in there, and then to go in and start talking about the fruitage of the spirit, that's hypocritical. That's a bad look. It
So
is.
I'm never one of those people to like, oh well, you're doing this, so I'm gonna judge you for doing this because nobody is perfect. That's the whole point that I was trying to say. Also, there's a whole like we're going through a whole court battle right now between the person that he was with before me because she has a child that she is claiming that is his, but they took a DNA test and the child is not his. So we're going through a whole court battle right now as we're preparing to get married. But what I was saying was it's easy, like how you said, oh, you can't, like for instance, I don't know who it was that was speaking, but when they were saying that they were in church and the man was telling her that, oh well, since you know you're getting a divorce, you're worthless and you're this and you're that. My whole point was that's not true, because if you read the Bible and you read the chapter of Matthew, it breaks down what God considers to be okay to get a divorce. That was my whole point of saying what I was saying. So I wasn't saying it to try to be hypocritical because I'm not perfect. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
I'm not. Look, this wasn't a judgment on you, and I still don't think that you're understanding what I'm saying. I'm saying that anytime somebody gets online, right, and y'all throw Christ up, I'm a follower of Christ. God, 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 Christ, 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 religion, religion, religion. People automatically perk their ears up to say, let me see how this person living. Let me see if they're doing the things that so-called God told them to do. And if the
Right.
first thing that comes out of your mouth is something that is already a cardinal no-no, I don't care if you do it. I'm not judging you if you do it. I don't think that you're a bad person if you're doing it. All I'm saying is that it's a misrepresentation, and it just goes on and encourages people to still be able to say, hey, them Christians always be lying. Them Christians always be full of it. They always be trying to judge everybody else, but they don't be doing the very stuff that they telling other people that they need to be doing. That's what I'm trying to tell you, because you're in the comments talking about Matthew this and fruitages of this, but you're doing something that is like one of the big no-nos actively right now. So your message would have been received if you just didn't say the other things, because it misrepresents. That can stumble somebody. That stumble plenty of people. There's plenty of people that don't want to have anything to do with God, want to have anything to do with religion, don't want to have anything to do with Christ. You ask them, hey, why don't you want to do it? Because look at those people. Look at those people that don't live the way they say. Look at those hypocrites. Look at those pastors begging for money to get jets and to get cars. But when somebody gets sick, they can't give nobody nothing. Just like the whole thing with the girl calling right now to all the churches asking for formula, and only two churches and one mosque told her that they would give her some formula, and all them other churches that's getting millions of dollars said no. That's all I'm trying to say, is that what it does is it makes things look bad. Period. And I just, once again, it's not to judge you. It's not to make you feel bad. It's not to say that you're a bad person or you're worthless or anything. It's just to say that for people, and I only said it, I wouldn't still say anything to you about this. It was just because Zora was already talking, making this argument and point, which would fall right into what she was saying, if that makes sense to anybody. So, but I'm not trying to judge you. For anybody that understands where I'm coming from, y'all understand where I'm coming from. But it's not to judge you. It's not to shame you at all.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. And I don't think it coming from a judgment. She does have a very strong voice, so it may trigger you to think that, oh, she's judging me. It totally wasn't that. But I do agree with what she's saying, in so many aspects.
I think that what's happening is an example of what I talked about before about children being caught up in adult messes, because now we are talking about two children who are being caught up in the mess of adults who are being made complicit in adult mess and nonsense that they don't have any control over, but have been introduced to and brought into their life. And then you actively can see one of the adults not doing the thing that needs to be done in order to make the situation right, at least for the child, at the bare minimum for the child, to not have to be in the chaos and the mess of what adults are doing with their adult decisions.
I think coach she's referring to your current boyfriend having the court issues with his ex about the paternity of that child is creating drama and chaos before y'all are even married.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yep, you there? Yep, you there.
Okay, can you repeat what you said? I didn't hear you.
Lydia.
Oh, sorry. I thought she was talking to coach. Did you hear what coach said?
Oh, you talking to me or you talking to Lydia? Which part?
Um,
Yeah, because you had both parts in there.
the you said creating chaos before we get married.
Right. Yes. I was clarifying what coach was talking about. Because you said,
I don't think she needed the clarification. I think it was pretty clear.
okay, well, yeah, because you weren't responding, that's why I said that. But
Sometimes people just have to let things settle in their spirit.
that's understandable.
I'm sorry.
I got that.
I'm sorry, you guys. Because I probably shouldn't say that.
Monica, where you going?
No, I'll say I respect it. I will say I respect it because I think for me, growing up in a cult, growing up then in various different, well, not really various, but a couple of different variations of Christianity denominations, I got exposed to a lot of what I'm talking about. So I'm not talking about it wildly and just as an outsider. I'm talking about it as both. And I think for me, one of the things that I could respect is the person who stands on making sure that the people on their team are convicted and on point. I know it can get, instead of Christians kind of going out and spreading the message, they should be holding each other accountable. And I think kind of convicting the spirit about, it's a word that I really always appreciate inside of Christianity. And it was with an R. I can't even think of the word right now. But when you really hold up your quote unquote sister or brother, that's a little too far for me, but I'll just use the language of the Christians, your sister or your brother, and you bring them to the altar to kind of rest in accountability. And I do mean rest. It's some word like you shore up
Is it
their,
repentant?
huh?
Is it to repent or
It's not
repenting?
repent. It's like you're restoring. I'll,
Mm.
if I find the word, I'll put it in the chat. But it's like you're restoring their faith in themselves, basically. And if you don't
if you are on a team and the team is off, then that's literally what it's called for, which is what I was saying. I was having a conversation, I think, online, I'm not sure, but I was saying if I had to move in public with some of the people and it was like a wilderness or something, I would not be moving with some of us because I would be a straight up bitch because we're going to have to get our shit in formation. And that's what that book says too. That book says a whole lot of different things. And I think that's where I bow out. It's too porous. It leans to too many people's understandings. And it definitely is the handbook for a narc. But when the way that you just did that to kind of call her in, because it's one thing for somebody to say that you're judging, Trig, is another thing for them to start out judging. Because the fruits of the spirit, that whole thing could be used to judge. But if your own, I remember, get your own front porch clean. That isn't that some verse in there? Colonius 12, 13, 1400.
Dora, please.
Get
Stop it, stop it,
It's
stop
a verse
it.
about
But it
don't
is get
spite
the
your
rafter out of your
brother or
eye.
don't talk about what's in your brother's eye. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that says get the speck out of your own eye.
Yeah. Get that. Like you got a
Right.
rafter in your eye, but you seeing this little itty bitty speck in your brother's eye. Yeah.
I do play a lot, but I be sounding. I know what I'm talking. I'm just a jokester, but like that's real important because when you talk about somebody discerning and all those things, even her bringing up your situation that you named about that man telling you that has happened to women in my family who they've gone to the preacher specifically and they told them to stay in abusive situations. That's a feature, not a bug. It's a feature, not a bug. Anything that men have crafted, you're gonna have to take a look at. Now we could talk about being things that are men have crafted that can be useful, right? The business side of marriage. But a lot of times Black women, we're the least likely to be able to do something like that. And we would have to be able to let the whole institution go in order to be able to come back to it if that's desired. For me, it's a no, but I get people who are able to use, there's different ways to skin a cat. But Black women get caught up in the morality piece. And meanwhile, collectively, I'm gonna leave it there because I think that you did a great job of. Let me go look up that word. Let me go
10
find the
from,
word.
10
I'm
from
sorry.
Trig. 10 from
I'm eating
Trig.
these. I'm eating these spaghetti and meatballs, but I will say I feel bad now. But I just felt like for
She started off
anyone.
judging. Why you feel bad? She started off judging.
I
She
was
came up
gonna
here
say,
to
what you feel bad for?
girl. She
I
was.
think Trigger, she don't even realize, honestly, the young lady. And if you're still listening, I don't think you realize the action that what you said was wrong. Cause she went to, to the other part that she said, she's in a custody, they in a custody battle. I don't even think she realized the act of you all living together, that is wrong. If you're saying that you're a Christian, I don't think she even recognized that. So for her, when you did call her out about it, hey, before you go on to say the fruits and all of the things, that's not one of the things that you're supposed to do if that's what you believe in. And I don't think that she.
And it's really and I just want people to know it wasn't even really her living with him. It was the inference of, like you say, your baby daddy or whatever.
Yeah.
So we know you getting it in. And I don't even want to say this because it sounds like I'm policing people's vaginas. And I've said this plenty of times, y'all. I'm no prude. I'm not trying to police anybody's pussy. I promise I'm not. I don't care what you do with it. I really don't. Because I want you to care what I do with mine in the late night hours, okay? But all I'm saying is that I do feel like with the conversation of what Zora was saying, and I think it was also, I think all the ladies were really talking about it, about religion, Christianity. We talking about people that false Christians, false this, that, and the third. Then we're talking about this. When it's something so glaringly obvious right there, I just felt like I had to say something. And the only reason why I said it was, if y'all want me to be real with y'all, it was just the tone, the judgmental tone that people always have a problem with Christians about, the judgmental tone. And then it's like, how dare you say something in a judgmental tone when look at what you got going on. And that is actually the crux of people's issues with Christians off the rip. You know what I'm saying? So it's just
And
like
it
when
just
you're
kept
doing
getting
something.
worse and worse.
It's that whole holier
It
than
just kept
thou.
getting
Yeah,
worse.
yeah, yeah.
It just kept getting worse and worse. Trick. She just kept talking and it was getting worse and worse. Like, girl, y'all in court. A paternity battle. I'm just like, girl, I was over here clutching my pearls and screaming, like, and and where is the child in all of this? That's why I had to say, y'all, we is watching in real life what we are talking about, how children are just being completely left out. Where is your daughter in all of this mess while you holding a man down, supporting him while he's in court for a paternity battle for another child? This man is reckless. You bet not marry him. That'd be the worst thing you ever do. Do not marry that man. The best thing you got out of that relationship is your daughter. Take her, train her up in the way that she should go, and let her never depart from it. And don't you ever let her end up in a situation like you're in, and that Akira is in, and that Brenay is in. Because that's a mess. And then you're gonna be looking 10 years down. Well, I didn't see no red flags. He was just so nice, and he did this and he did that. Girl, the man had you with him in court for a paternity battle for a child that he said wasn't his. What this man got going on? Why he out here slinging community pain around so much that he's got people who need to figure out if he's the father of their child? What? No, that's completely out of order.
But I do feel bad because she left. And I do feel like she probably, left with thinking that, I'm trying to shame her, or I care about how she's living her life. And I really don't. And I think this just goes into what I said earlier. It's just that when certain things go on, I just don't want people to think that I'm that type of person or I be on that type of time. That's why I said the stuff earlier about like marriage and what my thoughts are and how I do things, because I don't ever want people to look at me and think that I be like that, because I don't be like, so maybe that was selfish of me to do that, but never mind, y'all. I'm just gonna
What
chill.
happened to me
No,
saying
you took
that
it very
in that
easy.
what happened to me saying that in that book, in that religion, Christianity, that bringing your brother or sister to the altar for reconciliation or restoration, or is some word I'm looking for, where you help them get the mote out their own eye, especially if they're pointing to the mote in other people's eyes. What happened to that? Isn't that
I feel you. I do understand what you're saying. I just still feel bad because I think that was the first time ever speaking with her. So she dipped out, and I just hope I didn't hurt her feelings or whatever, because that really
so
wasn't my
she can
intention.
hurt
She'll be
ours
okay.
and not
Her feelings, I was gonna say, she'll be okay. Her feelings will be hurt. Her feelings could be hurt. She'll be okay. Your feelings been hurt before, and you all right. All of
that
our
that
feelings been hurt
man
before, and we all right.
that man is hurting her feelings.
Right.
That man is hurting her
And
feelings. And not only that, she
she
came up
hurting her
here.
daughter feelings. And that baby who in court trying to figure out who her damn daddy is, her feelings hurt too. She a grown woman.
Yep.
Her feelings, she be all right.
You know what the thing
Harper.
about it too is, she was in the comments and trying to say that they should have practiced this and that and discernment, so judging, and then quoting that Bible and saying the real Christians. That's how we got here. So you have to, or it then I you don't understand, like it doesn't, like, because okay, let me say this one thing and I'm going to mute. A safe space, because people keep on bringing up that word in this space, and Coach T and I'm still not sure what that means for Black women to keep using it to be abusive. But a safe space is given when they saying that to you, that it's a safe space for them to hold on to the fantasies that harm other people, particularly children. It's a safe space for them to stay right in their fantasy while they're behaving in a way that's not only misaligned, but dangerous to the people around them and harmful to other people, because she wanted to say that she was a special woman, that she's doing it right. That's what she was saying. She literally said that in the comments, that she is doing it right. And you can judge by the fruits of the spirit. And then when you start naming them fruits, then all of a sudden there's Beyonce stepped into the room and we're on a mute challenge. And that's fine, cause sit with it. But I think at some point you're triggered, but it's also you're convicted. And I think that's the other shadow side of that, is that you're convicted. And when does conviction, don't make me pull up the old stuff now. That's 20 years ago, but I'll go into that book if you need me to, Trick, to speak your language. But don't make me go in that book and say, if you are set apart, then you have to get comfortable with that. If you're set here to be set apart, then part of that is going to be doing that and making that distinction.
Yeah, and I
I'm
understand that. I
this and
understand
you.
that.
Yeah.
I'm like a really I maybe hopefully I come across, but I'm a really empathetic person. So like sometimes I might say something later on, even if the person I feel like they deserved it, I'll feel bad later. Sometimes even with dudes. I remember one time, y'all, it was this man, right? This is back when I used to respond to people back and forth, like on my TikTok page. So it was this black man. He was mad at me because I had made a video about passport bros, right? So I went to this man page, saw he was ugly. Okay. I'm just going to call his spade a spade. He was ugly. His wife was ugly and his child was ugly. So I posted a picture of all of them and I said, how dare you over here bragging about passport bros and putting down black women when this is your family? And that's all I said. I said, when this is your family. This man came back. He said a whole bunch of crazy stuff to me. Then I went and got a picture of him. He had a picture on his page. He had a shirt off. He had like it was like some type of vest thing and the shirt was open. And he had like a bird chest. And I said, I can't believe you in there with this raggedy vest on with no muscles. And I did a voiceover to where I said all of this. Cause that's when I used to get real ignorant on TikTok. I don't even be like that no more. So this man sent me a DM and said, how could you talk about my chest like that? I've been skinny all my life and he was giving me all these things about, I could tell that I really hurt his feelings, right? I could tell I hurt his feelings real bad. And even though he had said a whole bunch of stuff to me, said stuff about black women being undesirable, emasculate, nappy-headed, and all this stuff, I still felt bad, like, because I just felt bad. I was like, wow, I really hurt this guy's feelings. Because I didn't care about what he said to me. It didn't mean anything because it wasn't true. But I felt bad. So I don't know. It's like a lot of times, sometimes I say things to people, and even if it's wrong or right, even if they deserved it, I still be feeling bad. Like, I'd be like, oh,
I
I
got
probably
you.
shouldn't end it.
I'll be on that. I'll be on
Yeah.
that. Say you on 10%. This is you mandatory, not you.
Oh,
I
man, I tore that man up so bad. Oh, I tore that man up so bad.
Okay, I'm with you.
I
I feel very
definitely
similar, which is why I'm often on mute because I feel like I would do what other people do to me, but then when I see the reality, like the literal collapse of self, I'm like, oh, oop.
I was going to say earlier that someone named Harper in the comments mentioned that I forgot her name. Ayana, I forgot her name, but the lady that was in here, that she may be scared to be shamed for being a single mother. And I wanted to speak on that because I feel like that's a very common issue these days. People will set aside the needs that they have and the needs that their kids have, all because they're scared of the shame that's associated with being a single mother. When I think, in my opinion, there's actual power, and yeah, there's power in being a single mother, and there's something to be proud about that, to be able to raise a child on your own. And I don't think that there's anything to be ashamed when it comes to being a single mom. My mom was a single mom, and she did a damn good job raising me. So
That's not the fruit of the spirit.
I know you're right.
I just wanted to say I have nothing against single mothers. I love single mothers. So I just wanted to say that my intentions weren't to shame anybody that's a single mother at all, in any way, shape, form, or fashion. At
Yeah, no,
all.
not you shaming them, but like people in their community and whatnot, their
Yeah,
peers.
like her being in a church and fornicating, having this child out of
Right,
wedlock. The
right.
shame, her having experienced that shame.
But hey, you guys, I'm gonna end this live. So if you guys have anything to say before I get up out of here,
I want to say don't end it. I want to go on a rant about some comments that were made. Get
I
that.
also
no,
wanted to say that um, I I hate that women, the mothers in these single households, are the ones that are facing most of the backlash when the men are most of the time the ones that are to blame and for a mom becoming a single parent. That's all I wanted to say.
all right, I got you. I got you. Does anybody else have anything to say? We've been going for 3 hours and 33 minutes, y'all.
I was about to say, y'all, we've been up here yapping. Trigger, thank you so much for having this space. I wanted to key and sip tea on this topic. I could just keep going and going and going because it's so layered. There's so much going on in so many different aspects. And I just appreciate you for hosting us and making this a safe space for us to just talk our mess and act the fool.
Yeah,
No
thanks
problem,
for
no
having
problem.
me
This is the
on.
first time I ever cooked while y'all was talking. Cause I wanted y'all to still get it out. So I was over there, I told y'all, rolling the meatballs and everything.
Yeah,
Pause.
thank you so much and giving me a platform to speak.
Oh, no problem, no problem. It's good. I'm glad I got a chance to meet you today, Lydia. And also I think Ashley as well. Ashley Buckner. I don't think I've met either of you guys before.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Again, thank you. Because I've never really been up on a live and talked to people like this before. So it was a nice experience. I like the conversations that we've been having. It's a really nice experience again. Thank you.
All right, great, great. Please come back. Please come back. And for anybody that's listening, I do have a, you know, YT. And if you want to go to it and check out the videos, all you have to do is click on my page and the link is in my bio. And I do upload there every day at 6 a.m. Yeah. So check it out. Check it out. So was Coach T, Zora, Ashley, do any of you guys have anything to say before I get up out of here?
You know what? I want to say thank you for demonstrating Christian love in the way that you held them feet to the fire, and give us a little different taste than a normal judgy, porous palate of of outsiders. So
Yeah, I mean, I hate when people do that. I've never liked that. I've never liked people that do that. That was another thing in the cult that I was in. They were extremely judgmental on every single solitary thing. And I would look at that and I would be like, I would never be that way. That is gross. And I don't like that. I don't like people that act like they're just better than everybody when everybody has their own struggles and things that they deal with and their own secret vices and all of that. Everybody has that. So I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like when people act like that. So I think that was pretty much why. It's just the whole tone and what she was saying. I just felt like it was a little bit out of pocket, you know. But do you have anything to say, Coach T or Ashley? Any of you guys?
You say everybody, make sure y'all go follow Trigger on the Red app. Kelly, what scripture you talking about? I don't know. I don't know what scripture you talking about. Real quick before we end, make sure y'all follow Trigger on the Red app. Her stuff is so good. Like when I say I be cracking up hollering, and she do upload at 6 a.m. every day and every morning when I'm getting ready for work. I start my morning laughing at Trigger little jokes on her on her videos because she is hilarious. But not just that, her point of view is refreshing, and it is a space for um BLK women centered thoughts. I will say that most of the panels that Triggers hosts on TikTok, she does post them to YouTube. So just so that anybody who's new to the space is aware, please don't come in here talking about the YouTube the red app comments, please. I mean, like I have PTSD from it, so please just let us enjoy the panels and our conversations over here, and then enjoy the comment section and the replay over there, and just like let it be what it is. I made a sarcastic book from the Bible. Oh, train up a child in the way that they should go, and when they'll never depart from it. Which one, y'all, Zora or Trigger? Which verse is that? Train up a child in the way that they should go.
I can look it up. I just 1 second.
Okay. Oh no, that was Zora. She had made no, not no. Okay, that was Zora. Zora, what was that verse that you were saying? You said it's like Corinthians 1040.
or Nickelodeon's 3:14:58.
Yeah. What was but what was
Get the
the
mold out your own eye before you try to get it out of somebody else's eye.
okay.
Oh, I don't know, Kelly. She said it wasn't a real one.
Girl, we just be talking, girl. I don't know. Watch the replay on YouTube. It'll probably be on there.
New people, make sure you following Trig and come back. Like I love like intelligent
Yeah.
people, and intelligent black women
Yeah.
is definitely a treat.
Yes, Lydia, for this to be your first panel, like you did really well. Very well. This typically we do like kind of timed and a little bit more structured, but
It's
we
Matthew 7:3-5. The one about
Matthew
the
7 3 through
rapture in
5.
the eye and the speck is Matthew 7:3-5.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
thank you,
usually do a little
coach.
bit more structured, like we do more time. But like I said, this is Saturday and we was just kind of kikiing a little bit. But yeah, I appreciate you and Ashley for coming up and like being very respectful of the space and being mindful and just sharing and allowing other people to share and just jumping in. This is a great conversation. I enjoyed it. Thanks, Triggered, again for hosting this.
Oh, no problem, no problem. I appreciate all of you guys. All right, well, I'll see y'all. I ain't gonna go live tomorrow because I gotta do some editing and stuff for some videos, but I'll probably be back at it on Monday, y'all. I appreciate y'all so much. I just want y'all to know, like, I really do appreciate you guys. Really do love to hear your perspectives. And, you guys don't gotta agree with me or anything like that. I really do appreciate all of the differences in thought, the differences in opinion, because if you don't have people, if the only people that surround you are people that agree with you, your thinking can't elevate. You can't be well rounded or anything like that. You got to have people that are from all ways of thinking. And yeah, so I appreciate it all. So I don't want you guys to ever think that just because you don't agree with me, or if you don't agree with me, or if you have some questions, that I have a problem with it, because I don't. I welcome it all because, like I said, I value all of you guys' thoughts and opinions and feelings. And I want y'all to really understand that, or at least to know that I really do care about all of you guys. And it was really great talking to you guys today. And I'll see y'all hopefully on Monday. All right. Love y'all. Bye.